The more things change, the more things stay the same in the season 4 premiere of The Sopranos. It may be the highest rated episode of the show, but it will not rank that high among our ratings for all depths, public and private. On back to Fog Entertainment, and it's the first episode without the World Trade Centers in the background. Thoughts on that? We lost a good one there.
Woke up this morning and they were gone.
They were gone. Probably the biggest death on the show so far. I mean, if we're being brutally honest about it.
Well, Big Sal was like the size of one of the towers, so maybe not necessarily that far, but yeah, a big absence nonetheless.
Big absence, and this is, fun fact, the highest rated episode with a 13.43 rating.
To this point, or of all time?
All time. Sopranos only went down for here. What's that tell you?
Tells me that the last 3 seasons aren't that great.
Tells you that. But this episode focuses pretty heavily on money, as the title would suggest, debts, public and private. You've got Tony wanting money, Junior wants money, Carmela wants to start a fund because her kids, she's worrying about them. Tony's like, it's alright. He's throwing money in the duck seed.
Right, before we talk about what happened here, right, I just want to point out there's a certain guy that's watched this from start to finish more than 50 times, and he claims it's undoubtedly the best series of all time. And I just think if the ratings go down at the halfway point, can it really be the best series of all time? For me, if a series is worthy of that title, surely the longer it goes, the better it gets, and more people are tuning in to see the climax of the show.
Yeah, it's not...
It's like The Walking Dead, right? You can't make a claim that The Walking Dead's the best show of all time, because you're literally talking like the audience is like... You're down like over 90% of the audience by the time it finishes from what you were at its peak.
Yeah. And it's not automatically, though, if the final episode of the show's below any other episode means it's a write-off. But I would agree. I think the final season should be the highest rated in terms of viewership.
No, obviously you could have maybe one episode that doesn't do that well, but I think the trend should be... I think if the show's really good, then more people will watch it the longer it goes. I think normally once the ratings start go down, that would tell me that there's a decline and there's a reason why the show is not as popular as it once was. And I think if The Sopranos is dipping at the halfway point, then that tells me that people are going off it.
Well, Tony took a dip outside. He walks down the his driveway with his slippers, his house coat on. He bends down, he lifts up the newspaper and reads it. And it's like, does this deserve to kick off a season? Tony Soprano walking down his driveway, like we've seen a million times before, and picking up a newspaper.
No, but it's poetic, isn't it? I wouldn't expect anything else.
No, you wouldn't.
For The Sopranos.
There's been a bit of a time skip, obviously, in between seasons. Looks like AJ Soprano, he started at a private school, and Meadow is just languishing among the house.
I think when the series started, I thought Meadow was going to be the one that they were proud of, and the one that, I don't know, went on to be successful and got good grades. But now it's kind of looking like AJ might be the one that actually makes his family proud of him.
It might be. But I think with Meadow, it's like Carmela's banging on, oh, you need a job, and I get it, right? Maybe the wife's got a different role than the kids, but it's like, Carmela, you've never worked a fucking day in your life. And I'm not saying that excuses the kids not to, but I think if Tony is making this argument to Meadow, it has a bit more weight. Carmela just... Tony's got plenty of weight.
Well, she would argue that Tony's never worked a day in his life either.
No, but...
Waste company, waste management.
No, we can say what we want about Tony, but as illegal as the activity... He does put the hours in. He does actually do stuff.
Yeah,
he's rose his way to the top.
Yeah, but couldn't you argue that Carmela looks after the family and cooks the meals and that's her job?
Maybe. Would she not do that with a job, though?
What does Meadow actually do? Fuck all.
Loves about the house,
So
crying about Jackie Jr.
I think you comparing Meadow and Carmela's no fair on Carmela.
No fair on Carmela?
I think she does her part. Was it what Tony expects and wants of her? She does, apart from the nagging. He doesn't really fucking want
When you look at Tony's face, he's looking impressed with any family member.
See, to be honest though, you'd wonder why. I wonder if Tony actually ever cared about Carmela. Or was it just one of these things where I need to marry someone and have some kids? Because it's the Italian thing to do.
It's my me later.
But does he genuinely like Carmela?
Probably just more of a case he loves her because she's the mother of his children rather than like actually loves the person.
I couldn't recall many...
Loves the idea of a wife.
I couldn't recall many scenes though where you genuinely felt that Tony was enjoying being in Carmela's company. And you've seen him do it with a lot of females, but not Carmella. The Russian whore he seemed to enjoy. The rich woman in season 3. Dr. Melfi.
Would it be safe to assume if Carmella died, not saying if she gets shot by another gang member, say she just died of like cancer, would Tony be that broke up about it?
No, because he'd probably just move the ducks in, wouldn't he? And
Quack, quack. Move the ducks in. Exactly. Tony and Junior have a meeting. Junior lays it on thick. He says, right,
I need more money.
I need money because the court cases are crippling me here. He does end up flirting with a nurse who ends up being a rat. Well, I say a rat, she's like not even a informant. She's just like, they think she's got something to do with the police, but he doesn't even say anything incriminating and he's panicking.
And this is another one that looks like maybe Tony's had a fling with or something like that, because they did have a wee bit of an eye contact here.
Yeah.
It's like Tony's getting all these women. That just proves that it's a big fat slob. It's just proof that money talks, isn't it? I mean.
Yeah, no, exactly. But obviously she's in, but then if she's in the FBI, would she sleep with Tony? That's a career killer move, but maybe to get your way more information.
Wait, could you not argue? I don't know. Would you not argue that they'd take that?
No, they probably would.
Part of the job,
but it's never confirmed. But the looks would suggest that.
Hold on. See if a female's undercover in the FBI and they want them to get as close as possible to someone. Like, do you think that they actually state that at your mission? Oh, by the way, we need you to get as close to sleeping with this person without actually doing it.
No, it's whatever means necessary.
Yeah, so I'm going to imagine that's bullshit. I think they would actually
encourage it.
Aye,
be advocates.
I'm not going to say that they demand you have to do it, but I think they would go as far as saying, look, if that's what it takes, then do it.
Carmella then goes a bit shopping. She notices Angie.
Also, by the way, I think that Junior shouldn't be asking Tony. I still think Junior's lucky to be alive after the shit he pulled in season 1.
True. We all make mistakes, don't we?
No, I know, but how come his entire fucking crew had to pay for their mistakes?
Oh, a few of them are still around.
Well, not many.
Bobby, that's the old guy's kind of looking after Junior at the minute.
Alright, what about Junior's number 2 then? In the first season?
Mikey.
Aye.
True.
Why do you not get a second chance?
He's not his uncle, that's why.
Why do you get gunned in?
No, but I think Junior's being wasted in this role.
Well, who's Bobby the uncle to?
His dad? No one.
Exactly, but why do you not die?
Because he's not high up the crew. He is now, but he wasn't at the time. My point is, I think Junior's being wasted under house arrest. I think ideally you would like this entire...
I thought this would have just been like a little arc, but it seems like it's going to be the entire series.
Junior's in his fucking house coat and slippers like Tony is.
Anytime he wants to talk to Tony, he needs to go and fucking get a prostate exam or something. Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, Carmella then goes shopping. She sees Big Sal's widow. She then returns home and starts crying. Tony, I need some money. We need some money in the kids' names. We need to have a future plan for when you go away. And Tony says he's got it under wraps and that money's quite bad at the minute. What about this? Is this called for Carmella being worried about the future, or should you trust Tony?
Well, I mean, potentially. Now, didn't Tony say that she'd be taken care of?
Yeah.
Or does that go out the window because Big Sal's a rat?
He's already paid. No, but he's already paid for quite a few things that she's got. Realistically, right? Yeah, you do get taken care of, but it's probably taken care of to a certain degree. Like,
should you though? But
that's what happens when you're a made man.
Yeah, but I don't think I necessarily agree with that, because like, see, Big Sal, he would have been making good money anyway. Is that not his responsibility to put some away?
True. But again, we see throughout the show and these couple of episodes here, Tony pretty much, blasts people for using certain motives, but's happy to take the greed off it. As we see with the tiles and the fibre optic cables throughout the next 2 episodes.
He's a greedy man.
He is a greedy man. Even when it comes to food, he's absolutely greedy. He takes Chris to the Bada Bing. Georgie's...
Bada boom.
Bada boom, bada bing. Georgie's got the ice out. And Tony's like, you do realise things are tough around here? Why are you wasting the ice? And he's like... And then Tony says, like, they don't grow on trees. He's like, yeah, no, they don't grow on trees, Tone. And then Tony just fucking batters him.
I didn't like this, okay? This guy that works here is clearly... He's mentally challenged or something.
Aye, he's got a deficiency of some kind.
And Tony's beating the shit out of him with ice bucket.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not even a legitimate... It's not even like a legitimate wastage. It's fucking ice. It's water. This isn't fucking Africa last time I checked.
Yeah.
We're in New York. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think these scenes are funny, but they're a bit forced.
No, they are funny, but I mean, like... I could understand if he was doing something that was actually costing money.
Yeah.
But it's ice. It's free.
Not really doing anything. Is it at the end of the day?
This just made Tony feel like a bully.
He is a bully though. He's absolutely a bully. Look at the way he like mocks like Christopher and everyone.
True.
Everyone just laughs at his jokes and they have to take it. But they head to like a garage and then we see pretty much all the capitals there. We've got Carlo, we've got Ray Curto, Ralph's there, we've got Silvio, Chris, yada yada. Tony just goes on a full rant about money and how things are shit and how they've got no money and he wants money, but they've got no money and he demands that here, even if you're making money, I want all your money. Tony's a greedy bastard. He wants all the money. But is he going to get the money? I'm not too sure. What did you make of this?
It seems like great. It seems like everyone else. Seems like Tony's the only one doing well.
Yeah, but you notice
He's demanding even
notice
more.
the way he makes out that the money's for Junior's court case, even though he's already denied him money at this point.
Aye.
He's trying to pretend that the real head of the family needs the money when in reality he's the head of the family and he wants the money. He's a slippery fucking scaly bastard, isn't he?
I'm not a big fan. Big Tony is.
He's not. We do see Adriana's new friend Danielle, who of course we did get introduced to in this episode, well, last episode, but we do see in this episode that she is like properly FBI undercover. And Adriana's just eating this up, isn't she? Falling for it.
Yeah. Clearly obvious, but something's going on here, but Adriana doesn't see it.
Doesn't see it. Then Chris returns home, essentially orders this woman at the house, and then he takes off his socks. We're thinking, right, what's he going to do? Get a massage here? No! He gets the needle out and starts injecting heroin into his toes. Why is he injecting into his toes?
But he doesn't want Tony to see it.
On his arms.
Right, well,
Unless Tony's fucking tickling his feet or something, he might see it. But honestly, drugs is a no-no for me. And I think characters that automatically do drugs, I automatically look down on them. Is that a fair assumption?
I can almost accept it when it's like a one-off kind of thing. But
Chris is every scene he's in his house.
And I'll be honest, that's another thing that really put me off about Jesse in Breaking Bad. Now, I like Jesse, but it got very tiring, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of the scenes were... It was like almost every time you see him, he was just shooting something. And that's what Chris is beginning to feel like. I mean,
it's an automatic liability for me.
Like, you can understand why he's hiding it. Tony wouldn't want someone like that to be a made man in his crew.
No, but it's like, I just look at Sons and yeah, they deal drugs, right? But see, they were sitting around the table snorting gear off the crow, the M16. I don't honestly look down on them less.
No.
It's a sign of weakness, drugs. See, your top dogs, they don't take drugs. They don't.
Diaz.
Tell me, hermano, bit of myth, man. But yeah, he injects into his toes. Whoop-de-doo. We then have a dinner.
Fucking
right?
whitest Hispanic man I've ever seen.
Yeah, we have a dinner here. Ralphie goes to the toilet. Janice then follows him. There's this like,
More drugs?
more drugs. But I think this scene's brilliant because Tony is hearing this story about World War II and he just clocks 2 empty seats. He looks at his fucking watch and he's like, I don't give a fuck about World War II.
Who's the guy telling him the story? It's Fingy's mum and
It's Carmela's dad.
And Carmela's dad, and Tony just does not give a fuck what this guy's saying.
The guy fucking Bismarck.
Oh, he's looking at his sister's not there and Ralphie's not there. They're both disappeared. Where could they be?
Where could they be?
And you just hear this World War II rambling on in the background. I enjoyed that.
But see, if he wanted to, Tony could shut this relationship down, man. But then, but Ralph's a made guy. He wasn't even allowed to punch him. What do you make of that? Those apples?
So what? It's a punch. If you punch a made man, what's the punishment?
Well, Tony punched Ralph shoe and there was like big discussions what's going to happen here. Remember last season?
Could Tony have got demoted for that?
I don't fucking know.
Alright, what if Ralph punched Tony? Hold on, that's a bit...
I think Tony's a fair guy. I think if Ralph punched him and he felt... I say he's a fair guy, I don't get he's a fair guy. My point is...
I think if Tony felt the punch was justified?
I think if Tony felt the punch...
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Tony's punch on Ralph was justified.
I think it's different. I think if Ralph punched Tony and won, alright, Tony might have an issue, but if Ralph punched Tony, then Tony beat him to a pulp, he wouldn't take it any further.
Oh, so Tony basically has to get 10 punches in for every one Ralph does or some shit like that?
There will be evidence of that later on, but here...
Wait, is this not pathetic? Why can't they settle it like men? Like, look at Sons. Whenever they have a bit of beef, they go in the cage.
You can't punch a main man.
No, but imagine that. Imagine you couldn't punch a patch member.
It'd be embarrassing.
There'd be no members left. See, after the first couple of episodes, everyone would be kicked at the club.
Everyone would be kicked out.
This is pathetic. Here, you can't punch a made man.
Yeah. Also...
No, but see the way Paulie and Ralph obviously have their differences. Why not? Set it up.
True.
Right, you guys need to get this out your system. Square go at the back.
Let's talk about Paulie though. He's in jail. Actor was off with back surgery. That's why he's in jail. The reasoning's incredibly cheap.
Fucking pathetic.
They found a gun in 8 years ago. It was used for like an armed robbery with murder. So he's in jail until they find the culprit. I went on a Reddit message board yesterday to like.
What if they never find the culprit?
Yeah, no, but I went on a Reddit thing to look up the reason like why this happened, and some guy went, "This was much better doing it like this, like off screen." I'm sorry to burst anyone's bubble, right? But see having one of your major characters go in jail potentially for life and not show it on screen. What are you doing?
Yeah, and not really be clear on what the actual reason is.
There's a lot of shows fanboys out there, but I think The Sopranos are some of the worst. They actually try and defend that and say it's a better option. It's ridiculous. In my eyes,
I think The Sopranos does way too much stuff off screen.
But it's not like it's not like it's a misdemeanor. I mean, the guy could be doing life, and it's not like, oh well, he's only 20. He gets out in 25 years. He's 40. No, he's at the end. If he does 25 years, he'll be done. Sort of. I mean, he's dead in real life. So I mean, this was based in 2002. If he was doing 25 years, he'd been dead 7 years ago, based off that logic. But anyway, Tony and Chris sit down. Essentially here, what does Tony tell him? He tells him, "You're the man, big man." Because guess what? Tony's trying to manipulate him just a wee tad more here. And he says, "The real guy that killed your father is in there." And it turns out it's a cop. And Hey-Do, who's the cop, essentially got this Jilly guy. Or Jilly got Hey-Do to kill Dickie Moltisanti, which of course is his dad. But in the prequel, which I've not watched, it's revealed that Junior killed Dickie Moltisanti. But obviously at this point they had no interest in exploring that. At this point they had no idea they were going to do that.
So you think at this point they actually intended to go with the cop killing him, but then they thought when they did the prequel, no wait, we can do something better here?
Probably. But it's
either that or Tony's flat up lying.
But there's not a scene here where, like, in the future where Tony and Junior share a look over this. We don't even know what's going on. But when Christopher's like beating him up and, you know, he's about to kill him, he's like, the cop asks him, "Do you even believe that the guy that told you thinks I killed your dad?" And he's like, "It doesn't matter, he wants you dead."
Also, it just seemed very weird. Like, there was no like build up to this or Christopher really asking about his dad or feeling bad about his dad. This kind of came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, it did. But essentially what happens is he kills him. He turns like was it Miami Vice on the TV up? I thought it was quite funny. And then he takes like the dollar bill out the guy's wallet, I think he got for retiring. In between this, you had Tony and Bobby eating steaks at the diner. Didn't exactly do much for me. And then Christopher puts the dollar on his mum's fridge, walks out as the song plays. Down.
If that dollar bill's got like fingerprints or anything on that, could that not?
Aye, incriminate him.
Yeah.
Absolutely could, but here.
Since it was a gift, like, I don't know, do you get a specific dollar bill? Would there be like ink on it or print on it or could there
could be,
even if it's just fingerprint?
No, but like, let's say that's a special dollar that he
like
got.
A serial number or something.
If that's a special dollar he got for his retirement, he could easily be pinned. But it just comes out a bit of nowhere. We haven't seen in previous seasons Christopher's desire to get to the bottom of his father's death. Tony's just whipped this out of thin air.
Then all of a sudden, like a couple of minutes before, Christopher's. I just don't understand it.
I don't understand it either, guys. Anyway, I'm going to give this episode a 5 out of 10.
I'll give it a 6. I thought it was an okay premiere, but nothing special, nothing great.
It just
felt like another episode. Honestly, it just didn't feel like it was. And wait, was there not a big time skip? Like not like not a big
couple
one.
of months.
No, I mean, I don't mean time skip. Between seasons 3 and 4, was there not like a few years?
Seasons 3 and 4?
Aye.
What do you mean?
Was it between airing? Was there not like
just a year? Just a year.
Is that it?
The next one's 2 years, and then the next one's like 3 after that.
Normally in shows, you can tell a difference when the premiere starts. You can feel like it's a different season. I didn't get the feeling here. It just felt like it was a continuation of season 3.
It did, and like no, but usually premieres set up like, oh, what's this season going to behold? If I was to guess, like I've already watched it, right? But if you were to guess, you would just assume money issues or something.
Yeah, money issues, but honestly, every Sopranos episode feels the same to me. It all feels like filler. It feels like it doesn't feel like there's a continuation storyline. Sopranos gives me a little bit of like Supernatural vibes, where it's like every episode's got a different story, different plot to it.
Yeah. That's what I feel like too. But anyway, guys, 5.5 out of 10. Our debts have been paid. Remember, Fog Entertainment always pays its debt. thoughts. There's only one thing Tony Soprano wouldn't eat, and it's the 98-pound mole on Ginny Sacramone's ass. Damn it, they got removed. It was a great wee joke for Ralph, but here, should he really be making a joke like that about the New York top man? Well, one of the top men for New York?
Probably not there. We know how sensitive these guys can get, especially if you're a made man.
Yeah, you're a made man, you can't say... But what can John do?
Can't punch him, can he?
No, I can't punch. It's a no for John. It's a no-show. Welcome back to the Sopranos. Great times. It's season 4, episode 2. We love this show, absolutely. And we're going to get stuck straight into
Meadow, no show, Europe, or will she go against her parents' demands? Well, that's still what we're talking about here. Meadow wants to go to Europe. Carmela isn't happy. She keeps discussing how Meadow is pretty much a failure these days. She's not doing anything. She's not leaving her bed. Anytime you see Meadow, she's on the phone talking about gossip to... We don't even know who she's talking to
Misty.
be honest.
We'll go with Misty. That's who she wants to go to Europe with.
I think it might be Misty, but we don't really know. Anytime Carmela calls her out on her bullshit and for being lazy and for basically throwing her life and her education away, Meadow brings up Jackie Aprile Jr. because that's like the card. That's the go-to card now. If you're failing in life, that's like her race card, essentially.
Jackie Aprile Jr.
Why are you sucking in life? It's because I'm black. No, it's because the Jackie Aprile Jr.'s dead. So that's what Meadow... That's her get out of jail card here. And it's getting old. Alright?
It is. 2
I'm sick
episodes
of seeing it. Anthony Jr.'s the one that's got hope for this family now.
He's fucking retarded, like, but he's alright.
And Meadows the one that's just turned into a bum, lying in bed, not doing anything.
But she goes to the psychiatrist, who then questions if Tony or Carmela molested her as a child, which I think, right, for a psychiatrist is a pretty extreme comment to make, especially about someone who's only that age.
Well, I mean, what do you mean that age? She's an adult.
Oh no, well, she's what, 18, 19, I believe?
19, I believe.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's not like it's an investigation where this question has to be asked. I mean, it's a pretty strong question to ask from a psychiatrist.
I wonder how Tony would react if he knew this question was being asked.
I think he finds it in a wee later episode, but I can't recall correctly. But Meadow, she says, obviously, I don't think so. I mean, obviously she fucking knows they haven't, and she's coming up with those lines.
Yeah, what kind of question? That's almost like a, I have, but I'm too afraid to tell you.
Aye, sort of deal.
Sort of deal.
The psychiatrist tells her, why don't you go to Europe? Then she returns to her bed, and then she reveals to Tony and Carmela that, here, she told me to go to Europe, and then Tony's like, you fucking go! And then she's like, you're pussying around it. Dad, Mr. Mob Boss over here. And then Tony goes for the loving father to Tony Soprano, I'm the mob boss here.
Yeah, but he shot it. I thought he was going to do something. He
got in her face, and I think he gave her a glimpse of like, here, yeah, I'm a garbage man, but this is who I really fucking am.
I know, but I don't know if it's the gender thing, but you could argue it's even worse because AJ is younger. But I think if AJ said this, he'd have been smacked into next week.
Yeah, he's not going to hit his daughter. He cares more for his daughter than AJ.
But
AJ's like the black sheep.
But AJ's a kid.
Of a 2-sheep herd.
No, but wait, what's worse?
Hitting AJ? I know, but it's just more...
How?
I know.
I think you could make a case it's actually worse, because AJ's clearly a few years younger. And he's already smacked AJ about before in earlier seasons.
I know, but it's always looked upon you can hit boys. You can't really hit girls, can you?
Why not?
That's just the world we live in.
No, she's a woman.
Well, I think if she hit his last fucking bit of gabagool, he might have smacked her shit back to the
Or she killed one of the ducks.
Aye.
She went duck shooting or something, pigeon shooting.
Aye.
I just think if AJ said this, he'd have been out in his, he'd have been going to the freezer to get an ice bag.
Aye.
I think he had a wee black eye or something.
He would have been, but
Bada bing, bada boom, right hook to the tomb.
she starts crying, and Tony's like, all right, and then she just leaves. It's kind of a bit. He went half Tony. He didn't go full Tony.
I thought he was going to say, look, I killed your wee fucking junkie boyfriend, and if you keep talking like this, you'll be next.
You know, I think Tony did care about Jackie Aprile. He does point out here, like, he cared about him, but it's almost like...
Hold on, if he cared about him, he could have given him a second chance. There was no reason for him to kill Jackie Aprile. He could have basically gave him the whole, you're out, I never want to see your face here again.
I think he simply cared about him in a sense of, I gave a promise to his old man, rather than, but I actually cared about the guy. He cared about his dad, obviously Jackie Aprile, but here, Jackie Aprile's dead. I don't really want to talk about him anymore. Let's talk about the birthday party for Albert Baresi. Tony is there. Ralph makes the joke about the £95. I said 98. It doesn't really matter when you've got a mole that fucking size being removed from her ass. Of course, it's a funny joke here. Everyone's laughing. Again, Tony, who doesn't like Ralph, could have very easily shot this joke down.
True, but Ralph's a big earner, supposedly.
Construction.
In a time where nobody's earning money, so I mean, Tony needs this guy.
He hates Ralph, though. Patsy and Little Polly, who's Little Polly's nephew, they bring up a problem here that Ralphie's making a lot of money and that Polly needs a couple of the jobs. And he's like, all right, then, I'll give him 2 jobs. Then Silvio's like, I need to spice it up a bit.
What, am I wrong in thinking why Ralphie owes Polly anything?
Because he's in jail, and they think.
So how many jobs is Silvio giving him?
But he's not in the construction.
What's Tony giving him?
Fucking hee-haw.
So why is Ralph being the one that's...
I don't know, because Ralphie's the guy that'd be able to dish out jobs.
No, but the way they're talking, you're going to give him 5 jobs and 2 no-shows, and one of them's... What the fuck are they talking about here?
It's not explained very well, isn't it? No?
It's just a load of shite.
It would be easier if it was explained in money.
It's just talking, it's like, let's talk G's. They're talking about jobs and no-shows. What's a no-show? And why is Ralph the one out of pocket? Who cares if he's got construction work?
They agree on 5, right? 3 no-works and 2 no-shows, whatever the fuck that means.
Surely if Polly needs money, then shouldn't they all go the same amount? Shouldn't it be like a group thing?
But see, I think...
Where they all chip in?
I think 3 no-works is like when they go to work but don't work, and I think 2 no-shows is like a job where you no-show. I think that's... See the way they were sitting around the site? I think that's a no-show. I think a no-work... No, I think when they're sitting there doing nothing's a no-work, but I think when they actually don't go is a no-show. Because that would make sense.
It makes no sense to me.
Anyway, Silvio announces here that Tony wants Christopher as an acting capo, so he gets his... his wings, so to speak. He gets the...
Yeah, he's went from made man to capo relatively quick.
Patsy's not impressed about this, because obviously he's like 60 and Christopher's, what age? Christopher's probably like, late 20s at this point, I believe.
Do you think he should have been there?
Yeah, but Patsy used to be in Junior's crew, so why would a guy,
Yeah, surely Tony's going to show loyalty to one of his own.
Yeah. He then jokes, Chris, about he should get his hair like Polly's to have like the wing-like hair, haha. But then... He then appears at the construction site. We're introduced to a few I believe we've already seen Benny before at this point. Yeah, we have, but we've got big fat Fito there. They're enjoying their no-work jobs where they don't do anything. They notice, though, some valuable fibre optic cables lying around. Oh, Chris, they mention it to Chris that he apparently gives Patsy a look that's to say, steal it, Chris, and sell it. So Patsy steals it. This causes a bit of problem with Tony, and then he calls in Chris. Completely bashes him like, what the fuck are you doing? This is like a multi-million-dollar job and you're stealing cables that go for peanuts. Right. My problem with this is it's like, this is everyone under Tony. It's not just Chris. Yeah, you put Chris in charge of this, but we've seen later on the episode where Chris told Patsy to back off and he's like, if I was a carpenter, yada, 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 that speech. Silvio then gives Patsy the go-ahead to steal tiles. And then that's when Chris gets pissed off. We have a bit of a confrontation at the construction site. Who do you think's in the right about this?
I think Chris.
Yeah, but he's the one that wanted to steal the cables initially. Like, why is any of them stealing cables?
Well, I don't think anyone's really in the right.
No, they're not. I agree with Tony. I agreed with Tony, right, until Silvio showed up at his door. And he's like, well, how much did you make? 30 grand. He's like, give him my way then. So he's alright with the stealing as long as he gets the money.
As long as it benefits him?
Nah, it's all fucking garbage to me, man, at the end of the day. It's just filler.
Tony has privileges that the others don't.
Little Polly tells Polly about the joke, and obviously he's probably going to relay that back to the main man, Johnny Sack, isn't he? And then pretty much the rest here, Tony finds Ralph's shoe at Janice's place, and he starts greeting about it. What they do. And then pretty much the rest that happens in this episode is to do with Adriana and her friend Danielle. We're at the club here, and because Chris has got his hand on Danielle, Danielle freaks out.
Danielle freaks out. Well, she claimed that Chris claims that she...
Do you want to put VAR? Who's at fault?
Well, to be honest, like, if there's 3 people in that sort of situation, like, I mean... What I don't know what Adriana's expecting. Like, why is she allowing that to happen in the first place?
If she doesn't want that to happen, she should be in the middle.
Why is she allowing her hanging on her boyfriend's arm just like this so-called friend is? and then he's talking about how he's going to be a rapper and pimp them out and whatnot. I mean, this clearly didn't look like a boyfriend, girlfriend and third wheel. It looked like some guy that was just looking for the attention here of two women. So I don't know why she's acting all surprised that maybe Chris put his hands on her or she put her hands on him. You could clearly see it was leading that way.
Yeah, and that's what happens. So he essentially cuts ties with Danielle. Danielle then gets called into the FBI office, right? She has to pretty much explain what happened. And then it's like, right, do we give up on 5 months of work? Do we put someone else in the picture? I don't think Adriana's that stupid to fall for another friend. So they decide to call her in.
Yeah, I know. I see this whole Danielle. I think it would have been better if they'd never... It was a secret and they revealed that she was like a FBI agent later down the line.
We knew the whole time.
But I think the fact that they tell you from the get-go...
And it's only lasted a couple of episodes.
I think it could have been after this. I think this could have been the first time they reveal it. Where after Danielle gets basically kicked out, then it's revealed that she works for the FBI. But they basically tell you right at the beginning of season 4 that she's an FBI informant and that
we knew last season she was as well.
So it's like I don't know. I just think they've done a poor job of this.
They call her in, right, and they've literally nothing against Adriana apart from the fact she uses her own coke, which is right. Yeah, you know what? It's like a misdemeanor. People do drugs all the time.
Well, they said it's 20 years.
Yeah, no, but they're saying that to scare her. If they're saying this to Chris, he's like, where's my lawyer? But obviously Adriana, being the dumb blonde that she is, fucking thinks this is the end of the world. And they're like, what's going to happen when Tony Soprano finds out that you've brought an undercover agent into his house? And then at that point, she throws up over the table, throws up over everyone. The dog runs away. The dog's pissed his pants. And that's pretty much it, isn't it? That's it for this episode. It does not look good for Adriana. What do you think will happen?
Oh, well, she'll probably give them information now. I think
even though there's nothing, like, she could easily just go
This
back.
is like a Juice moment. Where they didn't really have fuck all on her.
Yeah.
Like, see if she goes and tells the truth to Chris, I think this thing can be resolved. I think Chris would be like, it's okay, she doesn't have anything on us.
Yeah.
Maybe tell Tony, he'd probably be pissed off. But I think the direction it's probably going to go in now is she's actually going to start feeding them information.
I think the best case scenario is that she tells Chris, but he doesn't tell Tony. Tony doesn't really need to know.
No, even if she told Chris would probably just be like, he would know that it's not a major deal. Obviously, it's not great, but he would probably know, look, well, at least we've found out now and she didn't get any vital information.
Yeah. So.
And they're not rats or anything like that.
But I think this was the show contradicts itself. Like, they've already got rats at the table. Like Ray Curto. So what information's he bringing them that Adriana needs to get?
Yeah, surely
like, he's a capo.
He's going to know. He's going to fucking know more.
Sil was a capo, alright, didn't give them much information, but there's so many other rats.
Well, yeah, what good is that?
That's where I think this show's fucking retarded, though.
Like, see if they had nobody on the inside, then you could argue that having Adriana is a big deal.
Yeah.
But all Adriana's going to do is relay any information she gets for Chris.
Yep.
But Chris is only an acting capo, and like you say, they've already got people that are captos on the inside.
I get it, right? See if you build your strongest possible case. Obviously, that's the best case scenario, but I don't understand what's the point of getting another one. Like, surely at this point with that Raymond guy, who I don't know how long he's been a rat, but it's been a pretty decent time. Can you not tell him enough information? Who knows, guys? But I'm going to give this episode another 5 out of 10.
Yeah, 5 for me. Didn't think it was as good as the... Not that the premiere was good, I just thought it was a wee bit... worse than the premiere. Again, just not a lot happening here. It feels like filler.
Filler. Anyway, guys, it's a no-show. Up next is Christopher.
See, Silvio? I think the character's fucking shit. I think he's just a middleman that relays information to Tony.
The scene with him and Tony was, like, weird.
See if you see out of Tony's captains, I honestly don't know how Big Sal can't be the best. Or considered...
in terms of character, yeah. Obviously, he rat it, so he's not the best captain per se.
But I mean, in terms of I would say Silvio's probably the worst.
Well, Silvio's the consulary, he's not a captain.
He's supposed to be the right-hand man.
Aye, he's the sergeant.
That's better than a captain, isn't it?
Aye, pretty much, yeah.
But in terms of what does he do, storyline-wise, what's he do?
Fucking nada.
Where's the story? But I think Paulie's had things to do. I think Paulie's had storylines.
Yeah.
Even Silvio, even Furio feels more important than Silvio. Feels more relevant.
What is he these days, Big Furio?
doing much.
He's not doing much. Like, but what's Silvio ever done?
Nothing.
Even at those meetings, it's like Silvio is standing right next to Tony, and Tony's like, "Yo, tell him, Sil," and then Silvio will just like say a couple of words that Tony could have easily said.
Yeah. Doesn't make much sense to me. But anyway, guys, we're giving it a 5 out of 10. We're back next time for Christopher Columbus episode. It's considered the worst episode of the show. That shall be fun. Till next time, peace. Whoa. Back up a minute. Hitler. Well, I'm back to Fog Entertainment. Let's talk about the History Channel. We've got Hitler, Christopher Columbus, we've got Indians, we've got Gary Cooper, we've got Tony Soprano, we've got Artie bricking it, bolting to the back of your car.
Back up a minute here. Before we continue this video, guys, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Right, carry on.
Carry on, let's go! Christopher Columbus. They're going to cancel the parade. Bobby reads the newspaper as some guy started blowing his nose. Silvio wasn't too impressed by this. But
Would you stop fucking blowing your nose?
Would you stop fucking blowing your nose? Right, so pretty much cards on the table here. Columbus Day Parade is being cancelled because the Red Indians are here to stay. And I think if the mob are being cancelled out of a parade, it can pretty much happen to everyone. I mean, this is back in the early 2000s. And Tony Soprano's getting his ass handed to him here.
Yeah, the Native Americans weren't taking any shit. They didn't really care about Tony Soprano. They didn't care about the mob. They were adamant that this Christopher Columbus parade wasn't happening. And this just made them look very weak. The fact that the Native Americans would stand up in New York and basically just say to the big Italian mobsters, "Here, see your wee parade. See your wee fucking hero that came over here a couple hundred years ago. Fuck him."
Yeah, and I think it just shows you, though, that the mob could easily kill them if they want, like the leaders, but obviously it brings heat. Right? So that's the
I
dilemma.
don't want that kind of heat.
But Silvio's feeling a wee bit more passionate about this. You've seen the last few episodes, Silvio's going a wee bit rogue, stealing tiles, confronting Indians. He gets Patsy to climb up a lamppost here. He brings down the what do you call it, the mannequin that was said, "Murderer." Artie then gets hit in the back of the head with some squash, and then he dolphin dives into the back seat of a Mercedes.
This was absolutely pathetic for Artie, right? I mean, he sees
Pathetic
it.
for all of them.
I know, but I mean, we've literally got, I don't know who it was, but one of them's been cracked with a glass
Little
bottle.
Polly.
He's laying on the ground, busted, bleeding everywhere. And Artie gets hit with some squash, and the guy fucking jumps into the back seat and locks the door. And he's sitting in there,
peeking out the window.
child lock on, and he's looking at, I mean, come on, what was Artie doing here? I was going to say Tony should kick him out. I know he's not even involved, like, but still.
Tony wasn't really interested.
This is embarrassing for Artie.
I know, but
He should be giving everybody in the mob free meals for next year.
he should be. You know, I actually like Silvio the last couple of episodes, especially he's standing up for what he believes in.
Which is good because so far in the series, we haven't really seen that for Silvio. It's just kind of
Relaying Tony's
man.
message.
Hi, Tony says jump. Silvio says how high. I mean,
Hi, can you go?
That's kind of all we've got. But Silvio in this episode was, just acting on his own initiative, really, and even kind of debating Tony and standing up for himself and disagreeing with Tony.
You know, yeah, he absolutely was. And Tony reaches out to a few people, Assemblyman Ron Selman, an Indian chief. He's trying to get them to cancel the protest at the big parade, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. We see Bobby Bacala. He's in traffic. He receives a phone call from his son, who he needs to pick up something, but he's no happy. He's like, why can't my wife do it? Then his wife dies, and the very traffic jam he was in was caused by his wife in a car crash.
Yeah, so he's complaining about traffic. He's complaining about his wife, yet the wife is the cause of the traffic. Big Bobby, not going to take that one too well.
He didn't. He was fucking crying. And you know what, right? Yeah, they're gangsters, but at least this guy actually cares about his wife.
I think if Carmela fucking was in a car crash, Tony would whip out the cigars and jump into the pool with the ducks and start swimming, doing laps around the pool.
Also have a couple of ducklings with him or something. But yeah, like they actually made the point that because Bobby didn't have like a Gumar, they're all laughing at him because he loved his wife. What a bad fucking guy he is. Like, and you see at the wedding, like they're all in the corner. Tony's like showing off his rings, and Silvio's laughing at the guy's wife's funeral. I think, I get it, right? They have Gumars, but like, can they not respect the fact that this guy actually loved his fucking wife?
Yeah, and then also, I mean, you got Junior later on. He's like, here, you tell Bobby to pick me up in the morning. It's like, fucking guy's just had his family destroyed. I highly doubt he wants to come and pick your ass up in the morning.
Yeah, we see John Sacramone.
But Junior's head's so far up his ass, he thought he was somehow being considerate.
Aye.
by being an inconsiderate bastard. And I still don't think Carmela has forgiven Junior for the hit he put out on Tony.
Like 4 seasons later. But
which is good, because I don't think something like that should be forgiven.
No, I don't think it should be, even if Tony's kind of forgotten about it. But we do see Paulie tell John Sacrimoni about the wife, made about his big fat wife, the 98-pound mole. And he also points at the fact about a warehouse that Tony is being sold to by Junior. To which Johnny is giving Ralphie the cold shoulder, ain't he? Gives him at the wedding, gives him at the meeting. And no one really knows why. Tony thinks someone's talking, but who does he think is talking?
I'm not too sure, but why doesn't this guy just man up and confront Ralph? Instead of being a little bitch and just ignoring him.
Considering he's like second in charge in New York at this point, and Ralph's just a diddy man in New Jersey. You think he would, right? Now, time can change in the next couple of episodes, but what about Ralph? What's he doing this episode? Well, he splits up with Rosalie. He's getting like a dildo shoved up his ass as well. I mean,
pretty gay there.
What the fuck's this guy doing?
Does Tony really want this guy in his crew?
Yeah, and then he goes up the stairs in Janice's house and she just pushes him down.
Take your shoes off! Pushes him down the stairs, and then I thought he was dead.
Did you?
I actually thought
it was like an EastEnders sort of.
Well, hold on. As if the Sopranos hasn't done shit deaths.
No, of course
I legitimately thought he was dead here. But then he starts talking about his back, so I thought he was crippled, but then he just gets up and walks out. It's like, what?
Whatever happened there?
He takes his wee fucking man bag back with him, so I don't know if he's going to try and get back with his wife.
Give me just a little more
one guy that won't be getting back with his wife, though, is Big Bobby.
No, she's dead.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and you know what, right? The guy's mourning here. Fair play to him. He's crying. He consoles a wee bit in Janice. And that's probably the main reason why she like pushed him down the stairs, Ralphie, because she thought that Bobby Bacalier can be what a real man can be. You know, he's got a bit of passion and a love for his family. But, because you know what? He is kind of one of a kind. The rest of them don't really give a fuck. As we see, right? See in the next scene where they're driving back for the casino, nothing really happens there, right?
Yeah, they go to the casino, play a few games.
Yeah. Then we get Silvio and Tony slabbering in the front seat. You've got Patsy and Chris in the back, like two kids.
I would say that's probably one of the best scenes I think they've done in a very long time.
Yeah, it was like a 10-minute conversation in the front. Now, it ends
10 minutes.
It ends pretty abruptly, right? But essentially, Silvio's crying about everything going on. Tony's like, right, you're going to be the one that phones fucking Frankie then and tells him that the Indians are coming to town sort of thing. Silvio's like, oh, you know, we've been discriminated against. My grandfather and grandmother were spat on. And Tony's like, did you ever get anything because you were Italian, or was it because it was fucking you? I liked it.
Yeah, it was like a backhanded compliment. He's trying to put Sylvie over and then burying his wife at the same fucking time.
You had a bit of ass, but all right, you had a bit of ass. And Silvio's just having to sit there, eat it up. And then he goes on about Gary Cooper. He's like, Gary Cooper's a great guy. Then Silvio's talking about how, well, you know what, gays, and it's not actually Gary Cooper, it's the movies. You know, he's not actually like that in real life. And then Chris butts in with, he was gay, Gary Cooper? No, he wasn't fucking gay. Now, what's that line Tony says?
Silvio's keeps going on and on and on, and Tony's like, oh, would you fucking stop? The group. Fucking fantastic. Great soundbite there. Clip it.
Yep, and then he essentially just tells Silvio, that's your problem. You're the one that's going to phone Frankie. Enough. It ends here. And then black.
And that was it. I mean, literally, they're having a conversation, and then it just fades to black, and that's the end of the episode. I mean, no cliffhanger, no reveal, just a conversation. Tony finishes the sentence, and then the episode finishes. It's like, what the hell happened here?
Like, I think The Sopranos does pop culture very well. I think it does include a lot of like real life scenarios. I liked Artie's joke about 9/11 when like the Indian Muslim guy said I had some business in Manhattan. He's like, shit, not again.
Yeah, we also
that was good, but
we also had the Jew as well.
Yeah, that
on
stuff,
the farm.
That stuff was brilliant. He's like, Hitler, just as bad as Hitler. And she's like, whoa, back up a minute.
Hitler?
I mean, you know what, right? I know there's always a thing about all the Jews going about the Holocaust. But this guy, Hesh, was actually in the concentration camps.
Unlucky.
So,
well, he's old enough. It definitely looks like he could have been there.
No, he was.
I believe him.
In fact, you know what? The banter this episode was great. I don't know why it's regarded as one of the worst episodes.
Yeah, considering I heard this was arguably I heard this was the worst episode of all time, I was expecting it to be a shit show. By Sopranos standards, I was expecting this episode to absolutely suck. Yeah, for me, it was easily the best episode of season 4. Probably the best episode I've seen in a long time. Probably one of my favourite episodes of The Sopranos.
It was funny. Story orientated, nothing happened, right? Realistically, Junior's trial got moved a wee bit up. But that's it. Johnny Sack finds out the joke, which will have a bit of effect this season, but realistically...
Yeah, the priest in the church, I mean,
that
didn't really
nothing.
care.
Who cares? Yeah, so what, right? He said the stereotype for Italian Americans is the mob. It is. See, when I think of Italian American, I think of the mafia. And Carmela's taking it bad and all those.
Well, actually, he didn't. He was trying to.
Yeah, I know, but the speaker he brought in did. Like, let's. What? So what? They were just going to fucking blatantly lie?
But she was defending. It's not like she was saying that is all Italians or mobsters. She was saying that's
That
the
is
stereotype.
yeah, that's the
So why the hell?
stereotype.
Why is that a bad thing?
They're just taking it fig.
It was basically her saying it's not fair. She was basically saying how American Italians are discriminated
But
against. 'Cause
I think what they've took it bad is the dose of reality, because they're like, we're all hard workers, we're not the mob, and obviously the women, Carmela and those women, they're not hard
they say
workers.
the truth hurts. They say the truth hurts.
Yeah, they do nothing. They're not workers.
If the shoe fits, fucking wear it.
They shoot out a couple of kids, and they live off their men's money.
I
That's
think,
the
I think that's what it was. I think it just touched a nerve because what the speaker, their perception of what most Americans think of the Italian Americans, she thinks it's unfair. But in Carmela's case, it's legit because that is her life. That's not just a false perception. That is her life. She is married to the biggest mob boss of them all. She doesn't work hard. She has got everything handed to her. So that's probably why she took it so bad.
Yeah, and you know what? I like the fact it just tied in history. Real life history. It wasn't just plucked up, made up shit that some shows do. Actual real stuff with Christopher Columbus. Gives you a wee history lesson. But overall, I'm going to give this episode...
Is Christopher Columbus better than Christopher Malsani?
Maltasanti? It might be.
Did Christopher Columbus ever do crack? Or
Inject heroin into his fucking toes.
Probably not. Like,
He killed a bunch of Indians. I'm going to give this episode I'm going to give it a 7. You know what? It was funny.
I'm giving it a 7 too. I wouldn't give it an 8.
No.
But it's better than a 6. So therefore, I'll meet in the middle. I'm not going with
I had a
7.
bit of everything apart from story.
Aye.
So...
If it was more story orientated, then who knows? Could have bumped up to an 8, but it was funny though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind if the story didn't really advance because there was a lot of good scenes, and it was just I like the banter and the back and forth between different groups, thinking that they were being discriminated against and getting a hard time, and then of course the comparisons to Hitler and stuff. Always interesting when you get
and it wasn't woke.
Yeah, when you get compared to the big H bomb. Then you know it's always going to...
back up a minute. Hitler. That's a great line.
Anyway, yeah, guys, good episode, and I like the ending as well with Tony. Oh, would you fucking stop? Good.
Would you fucking stop?
Good stuff. So yeah, 7 out of 10, guys. Best episode so far for me. Don't know why this one gets hated on. I thought it was good. Let us know what you think down below in the comments.
It's probably because I think it's probably hated because it's like
it's political. Aye,
it splits the ranks.
That will be it. Some people just can't handle political debates and shit like this. I mean, anytime you get political, some people shit their pants and they just don't like it and they think negatively on it. I mean,
Rudy Giuliani got a mention in there as well.
Like, you need to grow up. Like, fuck me. Like,
yeah, no, who. You can't say one group here got in a negative light more. Like, if this show is literally based on Italians, but I wouldn't say like they completely buried the Native Americans. Both got as good as they got.
Yeah, both were viewed positively, both were viewed negatively. So it's not like it just completely buried one particular race.
If
or
this was done
culture.
now in 2024, the Italian Americans would have got fucking buried.
Oh, aye.
Absolutely. The white man.
The Native Americans would have been the great guys, and the Italian Americans would have been the big bad dudes, so...
Exactly. Anyway, guys, that's us. Till next time. 7 out of 10. Peace. We've had the jacket. Now it's time for the wait. Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. It is The Sopranos, and we're talking big. We are talking gigantic. We are talking Ginny Sack. But hopefully Johnny Sack doesn't hear us say that, because maybe he'll be ordering a hit on us. And yeah, it is season 4, episode 4 of The Sopranos. This one is called The Wait. It pretty much is self-explanatory here. Johnny Sack, he's greeting about the fact that his wife has been called fat because Ralph Severetto said earlier on this season that she had a 90-pound mole removed on her ass. Now, when he tried to explain this joke to a few people like Carmine didn't really get it at first, but Johnny had to basically explain it in layman's terms that it insinuated she was that fat she could have the possibility of having a 90-pound mole removed from her ass. When Ralph said it, there was a lot of people present in the room, but the one guy who's told Johnny about the joke, he wasn't present because he's in jail. And I think The Sopranos probably could have done a better job of this, where we might not know who actually told him, relayed the message across to him, to New York. But speaking of New York, we begin this episode in Little Italy. We see Johnny Sack. He's talking with New York mobster Joey Peeps. I didn't actually clock on that this was Joey Peeps watching the episode, but Joey Peeps is a pretty big character moving forward, so yeah, proves how big he is. I didn't even recognise him here. But he spots at the corner of his eye some guy by the name of Donny Kaye. He's a member of Ralph Cifaretto's crew, and when he sees this guy laughing, he just thinks that he's laughing about that big joke about his big ass wife. So Johnny follows him outside when he leaves and decides to batter him, beats him to a bloody pulp. This guy essentially gets nerve damaged in one side of his body, and he pissed on him. Tony is rightfully pissed off, no pun intended, about this, because at the end of the day, Ralph is one of his captains, and this is one of Ralph's crews. Johnny is kind of alluding to the fact to Tony that he kind of wants Ralph dead for this, and I think a joke about someone like this, it shouldn't result in the murder. Yeah, I get Johnny Sack's point of where, if it was back in the day, I wouldn't even have to ask. But the point, even back in the day, man, your wife is a fat bastard. Accept it. At the end of the episode, he accepts it when he finds her bag of Twixes, or box of Twixes, Skittles, everything, Mars bars, Pop-Tarts, whatever you American Yankee bastards eat over there, man. She's eating it. It's all in a box. And because he realises she's relapsed on her diet, he's like, you know what, actually, see anything I thought bad about Ralph, let's take it back. That's where we spend this episode. We've got Carmine Lobertazzi, who, at this point, have they done a good job of introducing this guy as the New York boss? Probably not. He appears the odd time and buries Tony to his face. Don never wears shorts. And then Tony just looks at him all depressed. But essentially, he says we're not whacking Ralph Cifaretto because we've got good business with New York, North Jersey. And the fact that if we whack Ralph, we're whacking the highest earner, and that is going to affect us, and it's going to cost us hundreds of millions of dollars. So, again, would Carmine have actually agreed to whack Ralph if there wasn't money at stake, if we're being brutally honest about it? I mean, he would have been more open to the idea, but we see with the meets that go on, we see Ralph, he returns from Miami, he sits down with Tony, they then phone Johnny Sack. Tony gave him one condition: do not apologise. It looks like he was beginning to win Johnny Sack over, and he says, if an apology's what it takes, then I'm sorry. Then Ralph's like, what the fuck are you apologising for? Johnny said it, sorry. What are you apologising for? You said you didn't fucking say it. Tony is then fuming. He starts smashing the phone off the bar. He's like, I told you not to say sorry, and Ralph shouldn't say sorry. I mean, this ain't primary school, this ain't high school, this ain't college. You're talking to, like, the underboss of New York. If you're going with the story that you never said anything, then you should stick to that. You shouldn't then say, well, you know what, right, I didn't say it, but if saying sorry makes it better, no, because that just makes him think that you did say it. Why would you say sorry for something you didn't do? I feel like this is just a flaw to keep the story going. Personally, but that's just my opinion. We see Silvio, Tony, and Chris discussing who the hell's the guy that's been feeding Johnny all this information. They kind of think it's Patsy, but then they're like, nah, it probably isn't Patsy. Silvio then leaves the room with his McDonald's, and then Chris is like, maybe it's Silvio. And Tony's like, maybe it is. So who is it? But yeah, we already know who it is. We know it's Paulie. He didn't appear this episode. Like I said earlier, would it not be better to have this surprise about who it was? Sopranos has a lot of things where it, like, there's a lot of loose ends, even at the end of the show, like where some things just don't end. There's no like conclusive ending to storylines, and could this have been one of them potentially? We see Carmela and Tony arguing a bit more over money. This gimmick's come out of nowhere. Is it because of the lack of funds, even though you look at what they're doing? I mean, does Tony look like he's lacking money these days? Probably not, but essentially what happens is, because Johnny Sack is refusing to sit down with Ralph, Carmine comes to the conclusion that Johnny needs to go, and Johnny is then met with a hard choice. He's got to lay low, brother, but he doesn't know about it, of course. Tony is made aware on the phone call. He's like, are you saying what I think you're saying? Carmine's like, yeah, he's got to go. Tony gets the blessing here from Carmine to kill John, which I think is quite incredible. It's one thing, it's like, it just shows you that it never went over John's mind that Carmine would actually go this far to shut him up, because he can't simply let this go, which is quite incredible. We do also get this episode, Dr. Melfi with her psychiatrist, man. Who honestly cares about any of that? This is filler fucking shite. So what if he was driving in the parking lot and Tony was in front of him? He was the one bothering Tony. not like Tony tried to run him over because he took his parking spot. Tony's minding his own business, right? In the parking lot trying to get over to his car, and this guy rams his Chevy right up the guy's arse. What's Tony supposed to do? He's a fucking mobster. Top man. Is he supposed to just take that line down? This big Dr. Elliot Copperberg with his daughter or son that's a transgender by the looks of it, man. Big butch. I don't even know what's going on there. I mean, I thought that two twin towers fell in New York. Looks like one of them's still fucking standing in the form of his daughter. But anyway, looks like Meadows joining the South Bronx Law Center. Who cares? Ralphie then heads back down to Miami, and it's at this point John puts a hit on him. At the same point, Junior has actually informed him that, you know what, actually, we're going to put a hit on the big man. We're going to put a hit on Johnny. Via this weird inbred Texas Chainsaw Massacre style family where I don't even know why they're hiring them, man. It's like this show is filled of just bad ideas. It's like Bobby Bacalea Sr., Burt Young last season. This guy, right, who was clearly done, right, couldn't even walk down a flight of stairs without coughing up blood, and Tony enlists him in this. Junior and Mikey Palmas, they want to kill Tony. They hire two black guys that couldn't shoot Tony at point blank range. It's like, when is anybody in this show honestly going to get a job or get hired and deliver on the occasion? Now, to be fair, I think in this instance, the Ralph hit was definitely going to be delivered, as we've seen. Later on, it gets called off when Johnny does find his wife munching away at a box of food. And yeah, Ralphie is spared. Pretty cool scene where the elevator opens as the guy's on the phone with the contractor. And then Ralphie's like, what the fuck's your problem? Doesn't catch on that guy was sent to kill him. Then we cut back to Johnny, and that hit is... It's not really called off. Like, this family just get paid, but there's not really a scene where Johnny, I guess he's leaving for Boston, and they were going to go up. I think that weird-ass family were in Boston. That's where they were going to kill John. To be honest, I'm not really too sure, but this Galena crew, man, absolutely done. Honestly, I just do not understand how they were going to pay this family to whack Johnny Sack, the underboss of New York, and they're going to pay this family, this band of inbreds, this family, man. Absolutely disgraceful decisions, damn it. It's absolutely disgraceful. And let's see what happens next. I'll tell you what happens next. Johnny basically apologised to Tony. He's like, you know what, it's done, but no more fat jokes. And that's pretty much where our episode ends. We did have some stuff with Carmella and Furio, but it's just like, alright, if Carmella wants to be with Furio, then go ahead. And Furio's got his wee dancing shoes on. It was like, he was talking about his Pakistani neighbour. It sounded like he stole his CD player for him as well. Tony then returns home. He buys like Carmella this dress, and he's probably realised here, you know what? Even though I sleep around, at least my wife ain't a fat fuck like Johnny Sacks, damn it. And then, yeah, apparently Carmella's imagining the Furio soundtrack in her head while she's having sex with Tony. So is Carmella going to be unfaithful to Tony just like he has been to her so many times with Big Furio, his big nose? We'll have to wait and see. They've actually got... Carmella and Furio have got two probably the biggest noses, apart from Chris, because Chris's nose is bigger than Tony's gut. It's that big. But anyway, guys, that is it for the wait. I thought it was quite a good episode. I think for the second episode in a row, it was quite good. Because it actually openly involved two big characters who you thought, oh god, which one of these two are going to die? I think The Sopranos, for too long in the first couple of seasons, like there's no impact with any of the characters. Like the big characters, you never feel like any of them's in danger. At least that's me. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. Again, listen, I was going to get an 8. I'll get a 7 out of 10. Till next time. I think a 7.5's fair, but when you're doing solo on this channel, you know the rules. You have to do 8s or 7s. There's no halves, because that's how we roll. And it's Tony Soprano going into the final furlong. He's got his housecoat robe on. He's slapping the arse off the horse. It's Ralph Sitteretto. It's Big Sal. It's Richie. It's Janice. It's Carmella. It's another bland episode of The Sopranos. No amount of horses could save this. This was a Tesco burger for 8 years ago when they put horse meat in it. It was pie. Oh my. It was bad.
I pie to this guy, Tony Soprano. He infested. He backed the wrong horse, buddy.
Yeah, he did back the wrong horse, right? So, let's talk about this episode, this groundbreaking episode that just didn't cut the bacon, didn't cut the mustard, fell flat.
Cut the corned beef.
This is the equivalent of betting your fucking mortgage on a horse and it collapses at the first furlong.
I mean, it wins a couple of races, but then it dies, so it's like long term.
No, it doesn't die. It's just ill.
Safe shit, it's probably going to die.
It's probably gonna get put down.
I think Tony Khan will stick the dick through it.
Tony's gonna hold its fucking nose like he does to someone else anyway. Let's talk about it. Right, so Ralphie, it's his horse, but Tony buys a stake in it, I guess. But Tony doesn't even buy the horse. He kind of lets on to Carmela that he bought the horse.
And he hoovers off fucking Ralphie's money off him. So
just an awkward scene where Ralph wins and he's like, you're a good man, Tony. Here you go. Tony's just got his paw out.
I don't know.
And Ralph keeps slapping hundreds down.
I mean,
and it's like, where did I draw the line, Tony?
Is Ralph not big enough man here to go, look, Tony, I gave you your fair share, that's it? Why is Tony entitled to all this money? If Ralph's the one that done the bet.
Ralph thought a season ago Tony punching him was worthy of Tony being killed almost. Now, a season later, Tony's hoovering money at his
Take all my money and it's alright.
Take all my money, buddy. But yeah, Carmela did want Tony to put money into like a stock, but he didn't. And then when he changed his mind, the stock is gone. It's all over for the stock.
Speaking of stock, Carmela's stocks went down for me. All she does is moan and complain.
About money?
Aye.
About the money. It's all about the Benjamins, brother.
I mean, at the end of the day, Tony's the one that earns that money, so he should probably decide where his money goes, what he invests in, where he puts his stock in. I mean, if he wants to invest money into a horse, then so be it. Carmela's got this pampered fucking life where she just sits at home all day.
Tony talks about, the American way, we're the nuclear family, all that stuff, right? We don't believe in divorce, all that good stuff. If he didn't have kids, he would not be with Carmela. He can't fucking stand her. He can't. And I can't fucking stand her either, Tony. No, but he's right. See these women? You don't see any other old ladies, the wife, fucking giving back. I mean, you've seen Sal's wife doing it a bit, but I mean, he got killed off pretty quick. But Silvio's wife, I've seen her a bit, and a few other people. They know
I couldn't even tell you who Silvio's wife is.
Right, point is, they know their fucking role. Carmela knew what she signed up for. I hate these people that do this.
Yeah, if she wants, she could leave Tony and go and get a job working.
It's not like Tony told her, right? Here's my end game, and then that's when I'm going to get out, right? I know Jax does that in Sons. He tells the end game, then he's like, you know what? I'm staying. Fuck it, things are all right now. Tony's not told Carmela here. We're aiming for 5 million, and see when I hit 5 million, we're going to go to California. No, we're not going to go to California. Where we're going to is North Jersey. We're staying in North Jersey. Junior delivers a pretty good line this episode. He said, I'm waiting like patience on a monument for discipline to be handed down. Thoughts on that line? Patience on a monument. That's a lot of patience, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's an incredible amount of fucking patience.
Waiting a long time on that one.
We see Mikey Palmas's widow. Haven't seen her in about 3 seasons. I mean, serves no purpose here. She's giving Bobby meals. Bobby's wife's dead and you've got all these other women giving him fucking food. And it's like, do we care?
And Janice comes in and she's okay with Janice, even though that's the brother of Tony or sister of Tony who killed her husband.
Yeah, had him killed, so.
Which looks like that's been forgotten about.
It's been forgotten about, but it looks like Janice and Bobby are growing closer. Junior didn't like the fact that the artist in the courtroom.
I just think it's mental though how in The Sopranos that. No, this show's a load of fucking shite, and I'll tell you why. Because Ralphie literally was punched by Tony, and he pretty much wanted him removed. He wanted Tony to be kicked out of the business or almost and die, like you says. Ralphie then makes a joke about that guy's fat wife, and he thinks Ralph deserves to die for that. But then we see at the end of season 1 where they're willing to put a hit out on Tony. Then Tony responds by killing pretty much all of Junior's men. And that's just forgotten about, forgiven, drawing a line under the sand.
I see the line in the sand.
All these killings and betrayals are just, that's alright, but God forbid you make a joke about someone's £95 fucking wart on their ass, and you should be killed over that? Are these people so fickle? Can they not? Are they so sensitive? How the fuck is a joke worthy of dying? But they can kill each other and it's just forgotten about.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I guess Junior's all right with his crew getting wiped out because Tony's giving him a percentage. I guess you could say these days.
Well, that's bullshit.
Well, believe what you want. But talking of rats, we've got Adriana. She actually gives the FBI some information here about Patsy's steady income of illegal suits, but she's not happy that her club, the Crazy Horse, that
the mob have essentially took over and they're doing business there. Fito broke the seat, which served no purpose apart from Adriana falling off at like the next scene. And then, yeah, looks like she's on the heroin. You know what? They had no dirt on Adriana, and she's fucking just jobbing out here. But she's a dumb bitch. She is. She's not have one fucking brain cell. She doesn't. Carmel would not rat like this. Even though we can slab her about her and say, like, why doesn't she just leave Tony? She knew what she signed up for. You have to be a special level of retarded to actually, like, give up information after what they had on Adriana. They had nothing. And she's just giving them information here. They're not on Chris. But Richie and Big Sal, they're in the witness protection program. They're not.
They're dead.
Tony fucking killed them. Tony absolutely butchered them.
Right, anyway, apart from gambling and betting on horses, what happened in this episode?
That's pretty much it. Junior didn't like the fact that the courtroom artist drew him in a pretty shite way. And he just fucking stared him.
Like, I mean, that was... Junior's also got a new little bitch. A guy's about the same age as Junior.
No, he was there earlier this season, mate.
Well, he's only really been showcased in this episode.
Alright, you've not been fucking paying attention then. But, you know.
No, that's just Sopranos 101.
Sopranos 101. Ralph.
Not 101, 101.
101, sorry. I don't give a fuck. This episode could be close to getting a 1. Ralphie receives a phone call. The horse is sick, but he's got no money, so the vet's not fixing the horse.
Is that because Tony took it off him?
Could do. I think that's what Ralph's doing here. He's purposely doing this on purpose.
Well, I think he's entitled to do that.
What, sacrificing an animal?
No, let Tony pay for the animal.
True. Tony then shows up at the vet's after watching like a Churchill documentary. And then he like gets in the vet's face. He's like, "You better hope the horse is all right."
I mean, who speaks to a vet like that, or even a doctor like that? Here's your fucking money, begrudgingly giving them the money. I mean, if the guy's performed this operation, he's entitled to be paid. I think Tony is an absolute weapon at times.
Weapon. And then the episode ends. Tony just gets in. He's like, "It's gonna be all right." Starts stroking the horse. It fades to black. It's like, what? A big crock of fucking horse shit.
And the guy keeps his money outside in the garden.
Aye.
It's not really the safest place to be keeping your money, but a wee shitey padlock.
Away for Carmela maybe. And also Bobby did a favour for Junior. Right. That's where it ended. I'm honestly going to give this episode a 4 out of 10. It's so fucking bad. Like, it's just nothing happened. It was like 50 minutes of fuck all.
Uneventful, boring. Yeah, that's it.
You could have crammed it into about 10 minutes. Easily.
It just feels so abrupt that all of a sudden there's horses involved and they're gambling and they're put this.
And also the scenes with the horses looked horrendous. Like they're cheering on horses and it pans to the horses and it's just like zoomed up fucking race course. It's almost like it's remote control. It's like a remote control track. Like it's embarrassing. Could you not have got a view of the camera from inside where they were watching inside the stadium?
Yeah, well, they did have binoculars, so I think they gave us the binocular view.
The binocular view.
Well, that's what we got.
And then, like, Carmela's cousin who was there with Ralph and Tony bet on the wrong horse or something. Why the fuck?
Yeah, what a fucking idiot.
He said, yeah.
Was he not listening to the game plan?
He wasn't listening to the game plan, guys. But anyway, I've gave it a 4. What are you giving it?
I'll give it a 4 as well. It was probably below average.
I'd say one of the worst episodes of this show. Easily.
Well, I feel like a lot of the Sopranos can be like a 4 or a 5, so...
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that, but this was bad.
It was probably below average. I'd say 5's an average. This one was slightly below average, so yeah. 4 out of 10.
What do you make of this, kid?
It's just like Big Sal, like 30 years ago before he ate all those hamburgers. Well, looks like he's had...
Is it not more like his dad, Bobby? That's who I was going for there.
Oh, that's what I mean. Bobby, Big Sal, they're both big fat bastards. You know what I mean?
One's dead, one's alright.
I like Bobby. He's alright. Like, he's a good guy.
He's a nice man. He's a beautiful man. Anyway, guys,
he's in the wrong line of work.
He's fucking plus size. Anyway, till next time. 4 out of 10.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Artie the Dawn, and in this episode, I said au revoir to 50 big ones. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. Artie has taken a big hit. He took several big hits in his fight against the French frogged fuckface that stole all his money, but I think the bigger hit was probably the bank account, the balance, the 50 G's plus the 1.5 that he owed Tony.
Jean-Philippe got the upper hand on Artie this episode, but this one's called Everybody Hurts, including Artie's stomach, which will need pumped at the end of this episode. But I think Jean-Philippe is the most generic French name you can get. I bet you there's about 10 characters in the Walking Dead spin-off with Daryl Dixon that's called Jean-Philippe.
Jean-Philippe. I know Jean-Philippe for Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, I was going to mention him.
Jean-Philippe.
Just a lot of Jean-Philippes, but this episode, it centres around, like, addiction.
Do you reckon in France, the way, like, if you're Muslim, it's like you've got a 50% chance of being called Muhammad? Do you think if you're French, you've got a 50% chance of being called John?
Yeah, and I think if you're a woman, Marie's a pretty...
Marie, Jean-Philippe.
Maria, you got to see her. But yeah, suicide, addiction, it's all running wild this episode, Chris.
It's just the same old shite, really, isn't it, The Sopranos? I mean, alright, Artie's not tried to commit suicide before, but Christopher certainly injected heroin before.
Well, Chris's...
a liability.
Chris's heroin and junkie ways are going to come to a head soon enough. I will, no spoiler, but it will. Tony calls him out, right? Chris tries to wake himself up. He's punching himself in the face. Furio's looking at him like, what are you doing? Then Tony's like, what's up? Do you think Tony knows Chris is on the drugs? He must. Tony's a smart guy. But then
he's talking about making him his consigliere. You're talking about making him his number 2 soon.
He says, you're going to lead
Silvio's
us...
no spring chicken.
You're going to lead us into the 21st century. And Chris says, we're already in the 21st century, T.
But I'll lead you into anywhere. I'll follow you into the depths of fiery hell. I liked it. No, it was a good scene here, and obviously Chris is thankful for what Tony's done for him. And
a bit of serious talk though.
He is
loyal. In command of the Soprano family.
Yeah, he is loyal, and he thanks him for what he did with his father and ousting out that cop. So I like the scene.
Even if Tony's actual
bullshitting
true form of what he wanted there.
It's not really often though we actually hear Tony talk about the order, so to speak, and like who's next in line and who's getting promoted and who's not. I feel like that stuff hasn't really happened probably since towards the end of season 2 when Big Sal found out that
I think season 3 is by far the worst season. I think nothing happened in season 3. I mean, I like Jackie Aprile Jr., but it was the him show. Let's talk about another...
Well, season 3 also got the introduction of Ralph.
Oh, yeah, I think Ralph's good, but again, I think in terms of an actual story, the overall arcing story of season 3 was pretty poor. But let's talk about another junior, Anthony Soprano. We get introduced to a bunch of people that go to his school. I mean, he's got a girlfriend now.
Yeah, can we just wrap this bit up? Really, we get introduced to Anthony Jr.'s new friends that we don't care for. He's almost bragging. Well, not bragging, but they think it's cool how much money his dad makes and how much money his dad's worth in the house that they live in and what his dad actually does. But we find out later on in the episode that it pales in comparison to what AJ's new girlfriend's father makes, because they go to her house and it's like literally about 10 mansions that have been built together.
Is it safe to say though that Tori's probably got more money than her dad, but he just can't show it?
Possibly, but I mean, this was a big, massive house, and like what does her dad do?
I don't know what her dad does, but I mean, I would say at this point, right, Tony's not far off being a millionaire in terms of like the overall money. Like
so you don't think this is a millionaire's house?
But this woman? No, yes. I think it probably is.
So what are you on about then? Tony's got more money?
No,
he obviously doesn't.
I think it's close. I don't think it's a...
This guy had butlers and fucking...
Yeah, but Tony's got maids. If he wanted butlers and people to answer the fucking
like AJ said, he's got a maid 3 days a week.
And you don't think Tony could afford it 7 days a week?
This guy had security. This guy's got like a house on top of a house on top of another house.
Yeah, but Tony's got his own security. He's got maid guys. There's no reason to have...
Maid guy. Are they stuck outside the house waiting?
No, because there's nothing pressing them.
How do you know there's nothing necessarily pressing her father?
Yeah, but he must be weak. Mustn't be able to defend his own house. Hasn't heard of the second
because if someone breaks into Tony's house, are you going to come down with the fucking house robe on and
chuck them out?
Fucking start throwing ducks at them?
May as well.
No, I just think her dad's got more money than Tony. It's not even... What? No, hold on. You've got Carmela talking about £3,000 ornaments, and this guy's got paintings worth fucking hundreds of thousands. I mean, come on.
the kid with the bowl cut. What was he looking like? He pointed at this. The paintings could be worth millions. So
And he's touching them. He's just won't see. That's not very realistic. Now, I don't care how rich her dad is. Right? Normally, rich people actually want to protect their property and their investments and their money.
They wouldn't let any job or
yeah. I can't imagine that they'd be willing to. This guy be willing to let his daughter, right, bring in random friends without them being fed. And then allowing those friends to walk around the house picking up paintings and shit that are worth supposedly potentially millions.
No, I don't think it would happen either.
And I think AJ did point out, won't your father, like, won't somebody worry about us stealing this or even damaging it accidentally? Didn't make any sense. But look, this whole shit did nothing for me.
AJ actually ended the episode by, what was it? He answered the question about your dad's not that rich. He went, yeah, I don't know. Something like that, he said. Was that what he said?
It was
something pissed. Anyway, Sopranos doesn't know how to end an episode.
AJ's got a new girlfriend. They want to have sex. That's pretty much it. He tries to meet up with Mido so he can borrow
an absolute shithole in the Bronx.
Yeah, he thinks that she's somewhere good and a good job and a good place, and turns out she's not really living the American dream. Things are shit for her, and then she doesn't lend him the keys to her room. So that's basically the AJ stuff. I just don't like The Sopranos. Has got a bad
rep.
It's got a bad, it does this all the time where it kind of just like introduces characters out the blue. They don't introduce them gradually. They introduce characters and they expect you to care. I mean, we've never seen any of these people that AJ's hanging out with before. Then all of a sudden we see them and they play a big part in the episode.
Yeah. Ridiculous. But I want to talk about the bigger part. There's two pretty other big storylines. Gloria Trillo, Tony finds out she hung herself from Carmela in bed, but she doesn't know about the affair. Tony then goes into the car dealership and he's asking all these questions like he's a detective. You know how she felt at the end? The guy's like, I don't know, probably a man. And Tony takes that a wee bit bad. He's like, what? And he's asking just these questions. If this guy took this conversation what he had with Tony to the police and went, here, I think this guy might have had something to do with it. I mean, Tony would look a wee bit guilty. But, he takes a bottle of Artie's new vodka because guess what? Artie's investing money with some French guy called John Philippe. It's a business proposition. It's going to be the new vodka. He tries to borrow money from Ralph in order to give this guy. Ralph says, right, it would cost you 2 points. We were kind of debating what 2 points means. I assumed a point is $1,000, and I was right. So if he's borrowing 50,000, he would give Ralph back 52, which I think for the mob is quite an incredible cheap rate. I'm surprised he's not at 10 points. I think so. But they're close friends with Artie. Maybe Artie's getting the business.
If it's 10 points in it, it makes no fucking... There's no benefit for Artie borrowing it. And surely that can't be the case, because so what? If you borrow... Points means thousands, so if you borrow 1,000, you can still get charged 2 points that you would on 50. I'm just not really buying that.
No, I don't literally mean it like that, but I mean, for 50 grand... 1 point is 1,000. So therefore, for 5 grand, 1 point is $100. Whatever way they work it out. Here, I'm no a mobster, but Ralph says, no can do, because if you didn't pay it, I couldn't bring myself to beat you up. Which I liked for Ralph, he was honest about it. And you know what? If he did take it for Ralph, he would have had to get beat up, but Tony, he hears this, he's pretty pissed off. He goes,
how much of a beating do you need to get for 50k? Or 51.5.
Well, see, dead men can't pay you back, so you don't really want to cripple him, put him in a coma. But I don't think they would do. I think if Artie loaned money from Ralph and Ralph battered him, I think Tony would take it bad, probably worse than him killing Tracy. I think Artie Buckel's one of the truest friends that Tony's got in the show.
Well, he must be a good friend because Tony lends him money. I think Tony was feeling really bad this episode about the death of Gloria. It almost feels like people don't appreciate him or people don't think that they can approach him and they don't think that he's a nice guy and whatnot. So he basically, his guilt over Gloria's death, he decides to loan Artie 50 G's. Artie's deal falls through, which we knew it would. I mean, this was always going to end in disaster.
I haven't heard from John Philippe.
Tony says, you need to go pay him a visit. Now, should Tony not have said... I get it. Tony's probably a man or whatever, and he want. Although they say that he's got his own crew, but like I know what he wanted Artie to do. But should Tony not have sent somebody with Artie?
Yeah, you know. But Artie calls him out on it later in the episode. I think part of Tony likes that. He's like, let's see if Artie can get it done. This will be entertaining.
Should he not have sent Furio with him just for...
He probably should have, but I think what's happened next is probably one of the best scenes in The Sopranos at this point. Artie's hyping himself up in the mirror. He's like, you French-eating cunt.
Yeah, this was great.
I
loved it. I mean, it went good. The rehearsed version from Artie went great in the mirror, but when he got to this guy's room, it didn't go so well. The guy John Philippe didn't even really care. It was just kind of like, yeah, you know what? Bad business deal. I lost your money. That's it.
Because he just doesn't fear Artie. That's the I mean, if Tony was with Artie here, his arse would have went.
Does he know where Artie got the money from,
No,
though?
he doesn't know. But no, this was great acting, though, from the actor that plays Artie Bucco, because see, when he was talking to John Philippe, you could tell it was like rehearsed lines he went over in his head. Like the nervousness of the delivery and things like that. And then when this guy essentially says, here, you're not going to get your 50 grand back, it's an investment, it's a wee squee-wee. Artie's like, you fucking cock-eating, snail-eating motherfucker. He starts choking him out. They get into a squabble. I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily say Artie was losing at first, but then he gets a couple of digs in the face. Artie then kind of gets off him, gets back on him, and then John Philippe rips Artie's earring out. Artie takes this extremely bad, then gets grabbed by the scruff of the neck, thrown out. He then goes back to his apartment, and he starts crying. Artie's done. There's tears. Artie's balloon has burst. Did he give it all he could? No. He's just not used to that world.
Yeah.
It's not like John Philippe delivered a killer blow here that made Artie had this.
It's not like John Philippe's fucking some big brawler. Like, you know what I mean? I expect Artie to take care of John Philippe, but it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen, so he decides to take a bunch of pills. He's ODing and he's crying, he's drinking. He phones Tony, who's busy with like a hula guman. Tony's no happy here, though. He's like, Artie, don't you fall asleep on me, Artie. I'm going to send someone over there. And then he gets changed. He puts his trousers on. I was like, Jesus, what the fuck am I doing? Then it like pans to the next day. Turns out Tony didn't actually bother his arse going to Artie. Someone else must have got to him. But yeah. Then we proceed to get a pretty funny scene in the hospital. Artie says how he's missed the first payment. He's like, I owe you $50,000. Tony, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to pay that back. And Tony's like, well, actually, Artie, it's 51.5. And then Artie cries. And he's like, what if I clear my tap? And then Artie cries a bit more. It's only 46,000. What a tab he's worked up, Tony, though.
Yeah, no, how the fuck? Artie's struggling for money and Tony's worked up a $6 grand tab.
What's the fair thing Tony can do here? Artie's his friend. Could he say, right, you know what, Artie? I want to eat at your restaurant till I die. Free. Would that have paid back the 46 grand? Considering he's already got a 6,000 tab, I would say.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But you could argue that if Tony starts ripping the piss at it and he brings all his made men, that within the space of a couple of years, that 46 grand could easily be racked up.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you're
You're thinking champagne as well and stuff like that. I mean,
if you're spending 5k a dinner on like 10 people with champagne bottles and you know all this, you quickly, I mean, you get 10 of them, 50 grand. I mean, over the course of decades.
So I mean, it sounds good, but long term, that's probably not a good deal for Artie. But what choice has he got?
Yeah, he's got no choice.
Tony's rich. Tony could just say, look, we'll just forget this happened. Which is maybe what he did do, but I still got a feeling that this ain't going to be the end of it.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Tony kind of left it as if, you know what, don't tell anybody this happened, and that's it, squashed.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Tony looks for a favour or looks to, I don't know, bring this up at a later date.
Tony puts it on the table. It gives him a pretty fair deal, in my opinion. Then Artie starts calling him out. You're Mr. 20 steps ahead. Then he starts getting fucking furious. He's like, you thought I would see this shit go bad? And he's like, they fucking pumped your stomach. You got mugged by a bunch of kids, Artie. What did you do? I did it. I got beat up by a French guy. And then he's fucking choking Artie out in you got mugged, damn it. And then he fucking storms out, slams the fucking door. And Artie is left to cry once more. So,
I enjoyed it. Really good scene.
Yeah, I mean, also, to sum up other stuff, he signed the agreement with
all the Artie stuff was great.
I think every time Artie appears, it's funny. He made that joke about the Twin Towers like 3 episodes ago. I got a cheap pop out of me. Other stuff this episode, Tony signed the agreement with Carmela to like leave all the money with her if he dies. And he got the cousin who set that deal in motion, a bunch of new suits. And he had a dream about Gloria, who of course is confirmed as dead. But anyway, that's it for Everybody Hurts. I mean, I thought it was a pretty good episode in terms of Tony's character development. Like, he tried to help people instead of being the depressing prick that we all know he is. But overall, I mean, for the story, what does it do? Like, it kicked off strong with the whole Chris promotion thing, pretty much. Tony saying he's going to distance himself from talking to people. And then, like, it's good for Artie and Tony. But see, in terms of everyone else that's a part of the family, like, what did this episode do? No Bobby,
Not a
no
lot.
Junior, and people like that.
Sylvia no there, Junior no there. It's been a while since we've seen Polly. I don't even think we've seen. Well, we did see Ralph, but it was like just for a small bit where he basically just turned down Artie. So yeah, not a lot happened with those guys. But I mean, overall, I really enjoyed the Artie stuff. Didn't really need to see that much of the AJ stuff and his new friends. Entertaining episode though. I thought it was pretty good. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's sad that Artie Bucco, the guy who owns the restaurant's delivering like some of the best stuff in a show that's considered the greatest of all time. But anyway, till next time, 7 out of 10. Peace. Sometimes you're just watching too much television. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. We are here with Season 4, Episode 7 of The Sopranos. This one is called Watching Too Much Television, and this came out on the 27th of October 2002. I was not long 2 years old when this episode was floating about. But anyway, let's dive straight into this episode. What do you hear? What do you say? Paulie Walnuts is out of jail. He spent the first half of this season in jail, and he's out. Is it the greatest return of all time? I mean, probably not. I mean, to be honest, he's out, and that's it. You don't even feel like much. I mean, he's got a wee party from they put his song on. You've got Brian, Camerata, that guy, coming out and saying, he just out of college, and then Tony's like, and then kind of just takes him to one side, which I thought was funny. Then Paulie starts crying about the money he's received and lack of, and his mother, and Tony already, like, Paulie's been out, all of 3 seconds, and he's already annoying Tony up to, like, no level, man. It's kind of funny. Tony then recruits Assemblyman Selman and a friend of his, Maurice Tiffin, the formerly idealistic head of a non-profit low-income housing program, to put the plan into action. I mean, they've also got Dr. Ira Fried here, so essentially what this is, right, we're going to buy some really shitty, derelict, poor neighbourhood property, and then afterwards we're going to make a lot of money, damn it. We're going to steal a lot of copper at these houses, all that good stuff, man. It's an absolute disaster, to be perfectly honest. And Selman as a character, I actually don't mind the guy. You can see him and, like, Maurice. They don't like doing this, but, they've kind of been just brought in under Tony's watch just to do it. And when Tony pays a visit to Selman's house, he sees Irina making lunch for him, and it turns out that Selman is now dating Irina. Now, he did tell Tony this earlier on in the episode when they were at the spa or in the sauna. So it's not like this was a complete surprise to Tony, but I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of Soprano fanboys out there, and they'll defend this show to the death. But if you honestly think what Tony does to Selman in this episode, like beating him up because he's going out with Tony's former Gumar, then I think you're delusional for defending Tony. Like, come on. Tony cheats on his wife, right, with so many women. And here he is, right? He split up with Irina, a few years ago now. This relationship's been dead and buried for a few years. And, here he is, taking it bad that this Selman guy is out with his former Gumar. I mean, come on. Talk about petty, but then, Tony, he kind of is the king of petty, so you can't exactly spin it much more other ways than that. Meanwhile, Adriana's being pressed with the FBI. Oh, what's she going to do? She watches this television show, and she realises, a spouse cannot be forced to testify against her marital partner. But it's been a few years since that television show was out, and guess what? You kind of can, you kind of can't, but realistically, the feds will get you to do anything. So she's like, I'm actually going to marry the Christopher. Then we see the FBI, they kind of do a unanimous vote of they're kind of in agreement of her getting married. Doesn't really hurt their case, to be honest. She then asks Christopher to set a date for their wedding, but yeah, then this is kind of where it turns a bit dark here. He mentions children. She's like, well, you know what? I could have told you this, Christopher, but there's a possibility that I can't have kids and I could be sterile, to which he just fucking loses the absolute plot at this. And he's like, you're fucking damaged goods and you never told me. And she's like, we could adopt. And he's like, yeah, some chinky kid running around called Maltasanti. He'll be getting fucking bullied. And then he storms off. He gets high on heroin. And you can definitely see that Christopher is definitely go off the rails. You see Tony and Silvio, they back up Chris. Say, well, they don't back him up, but they say, yeah, they back up the idea of marriage, but Polly's not for it because Polly just wants to die alone, pretty much. Tony then says to him that modern medicine could probably solve the infertility, and Silvio then jokingly says, you could become like Junior, or worse, Polly, by being single. Christopher then returns, he's like, yeah, we'll get married. He's like, but that still hurt me, you not telling me this, but it looks like they're going to go to Vegas, but they're not going to go to Vegas. That was just Christopher and Adriana's plan. Looks like Carmela's organising this other thing, and it's like, how many days and weeks and months actually happened in this episode? Like, Sopranos, man, it doesn't really do a good job of the timeline for me, so yeah, it's almost like Carmela tries to make this thing all about herself, and when she's trying on a wedding dress, Adriana, she's speaking to like one of her friends, and her friend's like, no, do you not know a spouse can testify against her husband? And then she meets with this guy, and he tells the news that, you know what, probably they'll be able to talk, and it's like, damn, not good. And then she's opening more presents, or the whole bridal shower thing. Oh, look at this! I got a microwave, I got a blender, I got a coffee machine. Who cares? Who honestly cares at this stage of the game, man? Watching too much, sitting there, absolutely pissed off, man. Tony then takes AJ for a drive, shows him all these like rundown houses, basically explains that God's not making any more land, AJ, so you better make use of it. And I thought it was a really good line for Tony. And he's basically showing him all the houses that he's going to buy, all the dunder and dins, and then the crack people come over, and Tony's like, "Oi, do you suck your father off with that mouth?" And I thought that was brilliant. But yeah, Tony points out to Selman that the crack addicts have to be moved out, especially when there's $7,000 in copper piping in there. And factor in $7,000 a house, yada yada yada. It's a decent bit of money on the table, but it's piss money compared to Tony. Tony's like, it's going to be down to you, Selman. So they come up to the idea here that, you know what, we'll get black people to do it, because if white people do it, it won't look good. So yeah, they send in a couple of gangbangers, so to speak. 4 young armed teens run in, they shoot in the air, they beat the squatters up. But yeah, the family that badmouthed Tony, he gets shot in the dick. I'm not too sure if this guy actually died here. There's like a small child crying as this goes on. Yeah, just fucking weird, man. Just absolutely weird. Then Fito appears there, and they're getting all the copper out of there, and Selman and Tony kind of like share like a very awkward conversation / like meet here. Tony then later rewards Brian with a new watch, a Patek Philippe watch worth $15,000, because he's the one that put this in motion. This Brian guy, man, he's putting a lot of this crazy stuff in motion, but Carmela's not really buying it when he comes over. I'm just getting a power tool, Carmela. I'm just getting a power tool. Don't you worry about it. I mean, this episode as well, we got a bit more flirting between Carmela and Furio, but they actually don't do anything. He then refuses to come inside. He's like, I need to sit in the car because it's having car engine problems. Huh? Yeah, so Polly then meets with Johnny Sack, and Johnny Sack's just buttering Polly up. He's like, I've put the word in with Carmine, you're good. And then Polly's like, yeah, well, I hope none of this is getting back to New York. And he's like, Johnny's like, I'm ashamed you're even asking. I'm ashamed that you're even asking about that. Holy shit, our conversations are no one gets spoke of, damn it. Tony's then driving home. He hears the song "Oh Girl" on the radio. He becomes teary, so what does he do? He goes to Irina's apartment, and he batters him, and it's like, what? I mean, that's how the episode, it's just a filler fucking episode. I mean, it's the Sopranos. Do you expect anything differently, right? And there will be a video made about this, but why is Tony taking it so bad? If he wanted to keep sleeping with this Irina woman, then go ahead. But honestly, how can he? As bad as Carmela is, right, for not wanting to, being hypocritical and happily to accept the money, even though she always has to go about what Tony does. It's like Tony, he's talking I have her tested for AIDS every day. It's like, what, you're openly admitting to sleeping with all these women to your wife, and this crazy talk, man. And then this, it's like, Tony, son, you need to know your role and accept your L's. I just don't understand Tony Soprano here. How can anyone defend this guy? Honestly, man. Ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. But anyway, what am I going to rate this episode out of 10? I mean, what do you rate it? It wasn't a stone cold classic, put it that way. It was filler. It is The Sopranos. I mean, what do you expect these days, guys? The Sopranos. Give me just a little more time. And your love, me just a little more time. Give me just a little more time. And I love me just a little more time. I'm going to give this episode a 4 out of 10. I mean, it's complete filler. Like, all it really advances is, like, Adriana getting married to Chris, and, you know, a couple of funny scenes in there with them, but this whole like buying houses, I mean, it's filler, man. Like, this stuff can get wrapped up inside like 10 minutes. And Tony battering a guy that's sleeping with his ex Gumar, really, it's not a worthy cause. Tony should really know his role and shut his mouth, but he didn't. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10 troops. That'll do it for watching too much television. At least things are going to pick up soon, I guess, with Pyomai's unfortunate demise. But oh, did you like that? Pyomai's fortunate demise. Down and down and down.
Gloria who, Tony Soprano has moved on. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It's time for another Sopranos review. This time, Season 4, Episode 8. This one is called Mergers and Acquisitions. And at this point, Tony Soprano should probably just merge all his Gumar acquisitions into one, because he just seems to move from woman to woman. We've spent basically the beginning of season 4 him showing some sort of fake remorse, fake guilt for Gloria's death, and in this episode he doesn't give a shit about that. He moves on, he finds another woman, and I'm kind of sick of this Tony Soprano show where he just meets these different Gumars, and there's like 4, 5, 6 different fucking scenes every episode with them just in a hotel room. Offers absolutely nothing, just having sex for the sake of it. Doesn't advance the story, doesn't do anything. I mean, we had 1 episode or 2 episodes ago where he attacked a made man because he was sleeping with Tony's fellow former Russian girlfriend. And
It wasn't a made man, congressman, but...
Congressman, made man, same shit. And Tony Soprano, he viewed that as an insult, he viewed that as a betrayal, and maybe somehow in the sick mind of Tony... I was going to say Tony Khan. Tony Soprano, he decides, I don't know, the way to make that better is to basically do it on one of my guys and steal Ralph's Gumar. I didn't really like this episode. I thought it was basically Tony just finding... It's like copy and paste. I mean, do we need to see it every season and a new Tony with a new chick?
No, we don't need to see every season, and I'm just losing patience with this show again. I mean, second time watching it, your first time watching it, and it's like, what are we doing here? Is this a TV show, or is this a comedy? Dark comedy? Well, no, what are we doing? See, in terms of actual story, what's the game plan? Polly's mum moves into a care home. We've seen that with Tony's mum.
And also, why
3 seasons ago?
Why did all the women find Tony Soprano irresistible? It's not like they know how much money they've got. It's not like every woman knows that
He's the Don.
He's the Dom. Like, I mean, the Don. Like, what? I don't get it. Like, why do all these women just throw themselves at Tony Soprano?
Yeah, I mean, he's out of shape.
I just don't get it. Like,
he's fat.
I just don't. He's not got the greatest personality. Like, I mean, he laughs at fucking kids jokes for 8-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason, Valentina liked that quite a lot.
Yeah, so we start off with...
Let's just wrap up Polly's mum, right? Then we'll move on to Tony.
Yeah, so Polly puts his mum into a care home. I guess she's getting older and he sold their house. Money must be tight. He's basically sold his mum out, sold the house, moved her on, puts her into like this house in place. And none of the women want to be friends with Polly's mum because it turns out she's a bit of a cunt. A bit like Polly. She's not very likeable. And Polly's not happy about this, so he speaks to one of the women's sons that he went to school with.
Big Chucky.
He wants to resolve this. He basically says, look, you got to tell your mum to be friends with my mum, which is kind of embarrassing. Long story short, they don't want to be friends with Polly's mum, and Polly ends up sending a couple of his guys to go and rough him up, and then he has to kind of force his mum to be friends with Polly's mum. But do we really care whether Polly's mum has friends in some sort of retirement home? I don't.
No, it's filler. I mean, like, this did more for Polly's mum than it did for Polly, and who cares about Polly's mum? We don't care. I mean, honestly, what are we doing here?
Now, maybe I don't pay enough attention, but this is the first time I can remember seeing Polly's mum in the show.
No, we've seen her before, but I mean, I'm not going to lie and pretend it was in like a major scene. Like, what does this achieve? This is filler. We've got a 57-minute episode, right? And this Polly's mum stuff probably took up about, 20 minutes. No need. Yeah, was it funny earlier in the episode when he was talking to Tony in the car and Tony's like, shut the fuck up, Paul, everyone gets old and dies, don't need to hear about it.
Paulie is basically trying to get more money out of Tony. This whole episode was pretty much about Paulie's mum trying to settle in a retirement home and Tony deciding whether or not he wanted to be with Valentina. That was pretty much it. One minute Tony's like, oh no, I like Valentina. The next minute, oh, I can't do this to Ralphie. Then it's fuck Ralphie. Then it's no, I can't do this. I need to be loyal. Then it's fuck Ralphie. But then it's, oh no, I've already stole a horse off him, so I can't steal his Gamar. And then it's, nah, fuck Ralph. As long as he doesn't actually have sex with her, then I'm not really stealing her. And it's like, what the hell? Make up your mind, Tony. I mean, the fuck. One minute he insults her by saying I basically compares her to a horse, and then when he decides he wants to be with her, she just drops everything and rides like 4 fucking hours to come and see him, the irresistible Tony Soprano. Like
the big TS.
I just don't get this show. I don't see how people can say it's the greatest show of all time. I'm sitting watching the majority of these episodes and I'm just bored. There's some good scenes, I'm not going to deny that, right? I think there's some really good scenes, but overall, every episode seems to be like an hour long. And probably a good 40 minutes, 45 minutes of it is kind of boring filler.
No, it's nothing happened. No, this episode was a waste of my time. Waste of my time. Nothing happened. Same with the last episode. No, last episode was about the buildings, and they bought it and they sent the black guys in. They shot it up and the guy gets shot in the ass or whatever, the balls. I can't even remember where he gets shot in. But
and where's the follow through?
Yep.
Did they follow up in that?
No,
they don't. That it's like it's almost like standalone. It kind of reminds me of like Supernatural. It was like one episode would finish, and then whatever happened would have nothing to do with the rest of the show.
Yeah, like he throws a bit of water over Carmela, right? Trying to like play these childish games that he was playing with Valentina, but she goes, "Oh, you made a promise to me on our wedding, fucking," and he's like, "I thought I was having fun." So yeah, obviously his marriage is no fun, but we knew this. We didn't need like you know what, right? Tony should just divorce her.
Aye, take his money.
Yeah. Oh, I just don't get it. This show, fuck. See these people, man, that bum like Tony. You know what? Is he funny? Is he iconic? I've never denied that. But see these people that bum like this show, like butter wouldn't melt. It's fucking pish. See if you're being truthful. I don't see how this episode gets above a 5. At best.
We didn't see Junior in this. We barely got to see any of Chris and Silvio. We've seen them like a couple of times, but they didn't have prominent roles.
Yeah, like Tony wants to start moving, obviously, things through Chris and Sil, but then when they start doing their own stuff, he berates them and is like, no, how the fuck are we doing that? That's what I wanted to avoid. Like, he wants to go through them, right? So he never has incriminating discussions, but see if somebody flips, like a Paulie, or a Silvio.
Yeah, they're going to take him down.
Yeah, how the fuck? Come on, Tony, how are you not going down, man? Absolute filler. Carmela finds Valentina's nail, puts it on Tony's bedside. He finds it. He then goes outside. Oh, guess what? Carmela's been taking his money at the duck seed stuff, and she's been putting it into her own wee bank account. But 9,900, because of course, if you spend 10,000 or more, the IRS are automatically notified. So they're not getting notified. Then they're reading the newspaper. Tony's like, "Oh, has anyone been in the backyard?" No. What about you, Carmela? No. What about you, AJ? No. I'm going to go up to my room. Okay. And then, yeah, they're like, aye, it's all good. Furio also went back to Naples where he's like, I love her. I love the Don's wife. And his uncle's like, no, your father's dead, amigo. You cannot do this.
No, that's his father, isn't it?
No, his father's dead. It was his father's funeral. It was his uncle.
All right, okay.
Depends how much you watch, but...
No, I actually thought it was his father, but...
No, it was his father's funeral. It was his uncle, but... Right.
Why is it, if it's his father's funeral, then why the hell was Paulie talking about, or Silvio talking about Fury's dad having a bag?
He must have died on the flight over or something, but they didn't really do a good job, did they? Honestly...
Are you 100% sure that's his uncle?
I know for a fact, yes.
That's all right.
Because he called him uncle in the subtitles. And he was like, oh, you did what a son does, come to his father's funeral. So.
Right, fair enough.
But, like, right... Obviously, not this season, right? I'm not going to lie and say they haven't pretended to build up like tension between Furio and Carmela. But as Furio even said himself this episode, I love her, but she doesn't even know anything. And obviously, she thinks the same about him.
I think it's difficult to love someone that you don't spend time with and you don't interact and you don't try to love. I mean, you could admire someone, you could like somebody, maybe you want to be with that person. But like, I don't know how. I just don't see how Furio can determine that he loves Carmela just based on the fact that he sits in the kitchen sometimes and waits while Tony's getting ready.
Yeah,
She might have made it. Maybe she's made him a cup of tea or a coffee or a
this guy's
sandwich.
pouring his heart out, and Tony's like, "Do you want money?" No, but is Furio and Carmela fantasizing about each other enough as an overarching story for this season? Of fucking course it's not. It'd be different if they actually slept with each other and it's like, holy fuck, is Tony going to find out with this? What's he going to do? And then it would be a case
Or even
of,
a kiss.
yeah, but like, what? No, but what's Tony going to do? They're going to be like, you can't do that. All he does is sleep around. Come on, no, this episode fucking sucked, man. And you know what? The show sucks. See for every great iconic scene you get in The Sopranos, there's like 10 other episodes that are immense. I've never seen a show where it can deliver like a 9 out of 10 episode, right? And then like the next episode, nothing. Like you had, remember this season you had, oh fuck, Ralph's gonna die, oh John's gonna die. And then the next episode it's just filler. No, where is like the continuation? This is not weekly television. This is more like, oh, I don't even know what to. I'm going to give this episode a 4, man. It was fucking.
That's exactly what I'm going to give it. 4 out of 10. Just didn't do it for me. I wasn't interested in it.
I think in the later seasons it does become a bit more story orientated. But I mean, we're halfway through season 4. We're probably halfway through the show. Obviously, season 6 got more episodes.
I remember watching it, just thinking, when's this going to end?
Yep, and that's not a good feeling when you watch a TV show. You should be like, oh fuck, I need to see what happens next. You should be saying to me, oh, here, put that show in the back burner. I need to watch the next episode of Sopranos.
And the endings of The Sopranos are just... There's no real... like, I can't imagine thinking, oh, I can't wait till next week. That was a cliffhanger. What's going to happen next? You very rarely get that in The Sopranos. It's almost like these dead endings.
Yeah.
I think good shows normally end with you needing to see what happens next.
Yep. I don't get it, guys. I just don't get the love for this show. I mean, if you're an Italian American, like, yeah, I can see why you would like it. But it's almost like these people haven't watched this show since it came out, and they're like, they think it's. But then there's other people who's watched it 60 fucking times.
Right,
so.
well, let's take extracurricular for a second that we just reviewed. Episode 1 ends with basically his phone about to be stolen and the whole operation about to get leaked. The whole operation up in smoke. Then episode 2 ends with him getting an offer to have a business partner. Like that leads you into the next episode. In Sopranos, it's just it just literally like someone will be talking and then that's it. I'll just finish. It's like mid conversation and the credits start rolling. There's no cliffhanger. There's nothing to leave you on edge leading into the next episode.
No, but when was the last thing in The Sopranos that was like a mega like cliffhanger? Like going back.
It's like I remember a couple episodes ago where they're in the car and they're talking and I thought the banter was really good, but then it just ended randomly with them in the car.
Aye, talking about Columbus.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm getting a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm getting a 4 out of 10. I think when the show wants to be great, it is, but it's almost like I think it's just a case of they think Tony Soprano's bigger than the show and him doing these weird ventures with these women and. But then you've got the stuff with Paulie. Who gives a fuck about his mum not being able to fit in at the Coffin Dodgers reunion? I don't give a fuck.
I think, for me, I think it gets worse every season.
Worse every season?
If someone wants to say 2 is better than 1, I could accept that. And there's definitely some characters that I like that they've introduced that maybe weren't in the earlier seasons. But I just think it's an overall show. I do think it gets worse. I think 1 and 2 has been the best 2 seasons so far. And I think 4 is worse than 3.
Anyway, we could talk all day about this, but I just like TV shows that have a story. What is the story here? There's nothing going.
Most shows, right, would end with something, and then you know when the next episode begins, whatever it ended with, that's where you want to pick up on, right? You want to find out what happens next. This ending here, what's the talking point? Like, what's the main focus going into the very next episode? It'll probably be some random shit. Now, obviously, the last thing that significantly happened was Tony finding out that his money was missing. But I wouldn't be surprised if we go into the next episode and there's no mention of that.
Yeah, no, but let's not kid ourselves, right? There's $40,000 in the duck feed. See the Tony Soprano? That's peanuts. That's hee-haw. I'm sorry, it is. Like, you watch Sons, right? And see when Juice takes the brick of coke and the cartels come knocking? That's massive. See this 40 grand that's in the duck feed? That doesn't even matter. Well, that's went. That's not a cliffhanger. That's a load of pish.
Right.
I'm just not fucking buying it, man. Honestly, see rewatching it feels like a waste of fucking time. These episodes.
Every episode's long as well. We're not talking like 40-minute episodes here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's 4 out of 10, man. Frantic last past 5 minutes. Anyway, up next soon. Next episode. Whoever did this, whoever created this needs fucking shot, David Chase. Anyway, peace.
Ralphie boy, how do you like your eggs? Poached, boiled, or scrambled on the floor, just like yourself? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. And we say goodbye to Mr. Ralph, the highest earner in Tony's crew. What the hell is the big man going to do?
What's he going to do, guys? Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. It's whoever did this. And oh yeah, it's time to scramble those eggs. Just like his son got scrambled with a few arrows. We've heard of an arrow to the knee. This was an arrow to the midsection. The shoulder blade snapped clean in half to Big Justin. And we haven't seen Ralph's kids before, so I'll be like Polly. It was kind of hard to care, wasn't it?
Well, I think Polly could have been babysitting them for 10 years. He still wouldn't give a fuck about Ralph. I mean,
that's true.
I don't think it really matters how important Ralph's kids are. Polly's just a hateful guy and he doesn't like Ralph. So, I mean, both his kids could die in a car crash and Polly would probably celebrate it.
No, absolutely, I'll agree with that. And you know what?
Probably buy the car that did it and stick it in his garage.
I actually think Polly should have been took to one side and confronted about that behaviour. He has no proof, right, that Ralph's the one that phoned his mum and he's sitting there acting like that. What's worse, right? A prank call or his son literally in a coma? You're going to be a vegetable. Probably never going to be able to speak. And Polly is like, oh, Ma was on the ICU for an hour and a half.
This kid's going to be in bed for the rest of his life, laying there, planked out. Anyway, don't worry.
He's no proof it was Ralph.
That's true, he's no proof it's Ralph, but don't worry, Ralph's kid's going to have Ralph for support. Ralph's a good earner. He will make sure his kid has all the money necessary, all the surgery, all the treatment he needs in order to try and pull through this and live a good life.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's came under him, man. The rug has been pulled, Ralph.
Ralph gets snuffed out because he wanted his corned beef a little bit crispy.
Anyway, let's gallop back to the start of this episode. Hey, Junior Soprano, he's leaving court. He falls down the steps after he gets hit by a boom mic. Thoughts on this, Junior?
I actually thought he threw himself down the steps. I think it's a plan. I don't know. I've got a feeling Junior's in on this. I think he's came up with some sort of mastermind that he's going to pretend that he's ill so it can, I don't know, get out of his...
Well, I can...
I think he's faking it. I think he tossed himself down those stairs.
Did you actually witness the scene? He definitely did not toss himself down.
I thought he did.
He got diving headbutted by a mic.
Well, that's your opinion.
No, that's a matter of fact. Anyway, Tony and Bobby, they come up with the grand idea of, well, you know what, pretend you've got Alzheimer's. But is he pretending?
Or does he actually got it? Because he's looking like he's falling off the rails.
He's 71, right? And, I mean, I think this show's actually kind of ruined this character. He's been under court, like, you know, federal release, these court dates, pretty much ever since season 1 ended. And do you ever see it getting better for Junior?
He just doesn't really seem involved.
Yeah, like, Tony labels him as the guy. Only to keep himself out the
guy. It's just
the feds crosshairs.
It's just someone sitting in a spare room.
But I mean, to wrap Junior up,
he's a bit part player.
You know, you have to draw a circle on a bit of paper. And Tony says, "I wipe your ass foot. They know you're fucked up," which I thought was kind of funny. But here he goes to some next door neighbour, man. He wants ice cream, but they've got no ice cream. So sad times for Junior. Was this acting? No.
No, I guess we'll find out. I think he's playing along, but maybe he is.
What I would say is, right, like, yeah, this incident could have triggered Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever, but you can't just go for being fine to rapping the next door neighbour looking for ice cream. I can accept forgetting.
Who do you think he is, Joe Biden?
Remember that ad with Joe Biden during the Super Bowl? I like ice cream. No one can take my ice cream away.
I like sniffing ice cream.
I don't like the fact the prices are up. It's like, hold on, Joe.
Oh, you're the one to blame for the prices have been up everywhere, you fucking donut. Anyway, let's talk about two donuts. Ralph's kid and his little friend here playing in the park, and this was going to end in disaster. I mean, they're playing with a bow and arrow, and they're firing the arrow up into the air, and they're trying to run underneath the arrow so that the arrow lands and sticks in a board. I mean, this is like playing Russian roulette. It was always going to end in disaster. As soon as you see them doing this, you think, I mean, it's different if they're playing with a bow that's not even like sharp, if it's like one of those sticky bows and it just sticks to a bow, but they're actually playing with an actual bow. Of course, this was going to fucking end like this.
Yeah.
But you know what? These kids are too old for me to have much sympathy for. I mean, it's not like they're young. It's on Wikipedia, it says they're 12. I'm sorry, see if you're shooting sharp bows up into the air and then standing underneath it, then if you die... Ivan Drago once said, if you die, you die.
Ralph's ex-wife tries to blame him. I'm not buying it. Yeah, you know what? It might have been a wee bit negligence.
He was taking... Negligence? He was taking a shower. I mean, he can't monitor... What would it... Imagine if he says, alright, I'm taking a shower and I need to keep my eye on you guys 24/7, so come into the shower with me naked. I mean, would that...
fire arrow something.
Yeah, I think that would have been a wee bit worse for Ralph. So, I mean, what can the guy do?
If Ralph knew they were doing this, he would not have went and got a shower. He must have thought they were doing something else.
Playing football or...
Soccer, dude.
Whatever they do, I don't know, ice hockey.
Shoot each other.
Aye.
Usually it's with guns, no arrows. But anyway, I mean, I'm not going to blame anyone
the American way.
Apart from the two kids. It's fucking ridiculous.
Like I said, they're 12. Come on. Anyway, he gets rushed to hospital. Turns out he might not make it. He could die.
I think you could argue, right, that these kids shouldn't even be using bow and arrows in the first place. But I mean, come on. Actually chasing where the arrow's going to land? How stupid's that?
I know. Just straight up fucking retarded.
But again, I think this is a Sopranos problem, right? Why haven't we been introduced to this guy's kids? Or kid?
Yeah, Sopranos does this. It literally only introduces people when something's going to happen to them. So therefore, it's just... Paulie doesn't care about his kids. We don't really care about his kids. There's other shows where the kids are relevant. And, like, if something happened to Tony's kids, you'd care because they've been in it since the beginning. It would mean something. But when it happens to Ralph's kids who are literally just appearing for the first time, it doesn't really mean shit. There is a fire at the stable where pie o my is being kept, and pie o my is now a corned beef pie. The pie is being golden brown, it's been toasted there. The horse did survive, but unfortunately had nasty burns, and once you can't run, once you're injured, horse owners and stable owners, they don't give a fuck. They will put you down, and I don't care if you own a horse. That's as simple as that, man. They do. As soon as you can stop being providing an income, as soon as you start being
The word profitable for a horse.
That's the one.
Guys, we've got the brain dead horse here. Not the brain dead horse for Family Guy.
No.
Why just tell like that, Peter?
As soon as Pyomai stopped becoming profitable, its days were numbered.
Do we think Ralph did it?
He told so Tony.
Well, before we get to that, right, we did have the scene where Tony tells Ralph that he's seeing Valentina. Ralph doesn't really care. Why would he? His son's in the fucking hospital. Weird time for Tony to bring it up.
Now, I mean, that could that be
Is that motive?
Was Valentina
Also, the whole 200,000 insurance policy. But here, my problem with this scene is though, it's like the fact that Polly fucking blanks him, and then like, Polly, you wouldn't understand. You've got naked. No, fuck off, Polly. You've no proof that Ralph did the prank call. And so what? The prank call was funny.
We're going back to that.
I know we are going back to this scene because that was just the introduce to start the episode. But honestly, I think Tony only went through Polly when he said, "I'm going to kill him if I find out it was him." And then
you ain't killing anyone.
What was it Tony said? If you can reveal the rules. What is it? If you can quote the rules, you better fucking obey them or something. I like that line.
It was a good line for Tony.
And then he bottles and he's like, I'm going to visit your ma, Polly.
Yeah, so Ralph gets told that Tony is dating Valentina. Is that a reason for him to maybe try and get back at Tony? Was Valentina meaning a lot to Ralph, and therefore Ralph knows this horse means a lot to Tony? Would Ralph do that? I mean, he seems like the kind of guy that would be a bit vindictive. I'm not putting it beyond Ralph. I mean, he killed a woman in cold blood, so I'm sure he wouldn't mind burning a horse down, especially if he's going to gain 100k from that, half of the insurance policy. But I don't know. I'm not too sure if Ralph done it. Tony goes to his house. Tony questions him. Ralph is like, "Holy fuck, Tony! It's just a horse." But Ralph denies it. I mean, at this point, if Tony thinks he did it and Tony's so upset about it and Tony doesn't believe him, you may as well just tell him the truth. Because Tony thinks he done it anyway.
Yeah.
So why deny it?
It's never confirmed if Ralph did it or not, right? But I think he did. But my problem with this is, right, I'm going to go back to Ralph and Polly one more time. Ralph basically puts together on this episode that Polly was the one that told Johnny Sack the joke, right? The Jenny Sack joke with his big fat wife. And what's Ralph want to do with that? He decides to prank Polly's mum.
It doesn't say he doesn't want Polly kicked out or anything like that, or he doesn't want to kill Polly.
Yeah, now Ralph commits a prank, and Polly wants him dead. You just see the polar opposites there. Even though Polly telling Johnny Sack that almost got Ralph whacked, Ralph might not know that, but he knows about the conversations that were had, and he had to...
Well, don't worry, Ralph got whacked anyway.
Ralph did get
There's
whacked.
Tony saying you're not going to kill anybody.
Like, whoever did this title of the episode got mentioned quite a lot of times this episode, and also, well, let's talk about the fight. We've got scrambled eggs. I mean, it was kind of weird. Tony was accusing him of it, and then he's like, I'll have eggs. And then he's like, oh, did you ring Silvio's friend? He knows a lot about house fires or fires, man. Arson. And then they get into it. I mean, I actually thought it was a pretty even fight. Till they got him on the floor.
Good fight, but then Tony decides to kill him. I don't know why Tony wasn't content just... But here's the thing. Like, what would have happened if Tony didn't kill him? What would have been the fallout of this? How would they have reacted? Because I remember when Tony punched him over attacking that woman, Ralph took it fucking bad. Now, on one hand, I think it's good the way Ralph can joke and just play pranks and, you know, play that shit off, but he really did act pathetic because Tony put his hands on him. He can turn around and say, I'm a made man, but at the end of the day, he killed someone. Someone innocent, so... I don't know. Tony, though, decides to kill him. Seemed a bit strange. He's Tony's berating Polly for saying he's going to kill him, but then Tony kills him like, 30 minutes later. He calls Chris. Chris is high as fuck, but has to come and help Tony. Tony lectures Chris for being high. But again, Chris isn't the person that's just killed someone. That would be Tony. And they spend the rest of the episode just cleaning up Ralph and chopping him into bits, burying the body. It was
funny when Chris came in. He's like, oh, ho, ho, ho.
What the hell's Ralph doing on the floor? And then they take like Ralph, they're trying to cut his head off, and the toupee, the wig comes off. I thought that was pretty funny. But Chris doing Tony another solid here.
Pretty much the last half an hour of this episode is a clean-up job.
Yeah.
Get no one else in the episode apart from these two, which I kind of liked.
Yeah.
Proper cover-up.
Probably two of the better characters, if not the two best characters in the show, so...
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about that. They cover it up. They bury some of the body. I think they bury the hands and the feet, and then the head, and then they bury the rest of the body in the river. And that's pretty much
apparently
it.
where they buried it was Mikey Palmus's father's farm, which is pretty messed up considering the fact that they killed Mikey Palmus. But I mean, that's where it ends. Tony gets changed. He's wearing like a Bada Bing shirt. He goes outside. Christopher. Then the episode just ends with him going out the fucking back door.
Yeah, looking like a bag of shit. Just walks out. It's like Walking Dead or something. He's just turned into a fresh zombie, and he walks out to, I don't know, have a feast on the public. Weird end to the episode. It doesn't end on a cliff. It just ends on Tony waking up and walking outside, and that's it. Good. I liked it. Good episode, but weak ending.
It was a very weak ending. I mean, there's no like cliffhanger about what they're going to do with this body, or I mean, you also had
like some fat guy walking out into the street shouting Christopher.
You had them cleaning up Ralph's house, and then they're sitting on the couch, you know, laying all their DNA everywhere, eating peanut butter with a knife.
Walter White wouldn't be doing this. I mean, think of all the specks of blood and stuff they will have on their clothes, and they're sitting on the couch, and you tell me they've gave this entire house a fine clean down? Yeah, absolutely not.
I'm not convinced in the slightest. But here, I remember watching this first time. I was shocked at this death. I couldn't believe it happened. But is it the right decision to kill
I'm actually sad. Cause I think Ralph is up with Tony and Chris. I think he's the best character in the show. And I would actually say, I'd say he's probably overtaken Chris.
Yeah, I think Chris took a back seat.
So
this junkie
for
phase.
me,
But it's like who butts head with Tony? Now the guy that was butting heads with New York as well is at the picture. Just seems like everything's happy go Larry.
Yeah, I'm not happy they killed Ralph. Fucking dumb as well over this horse. Is what it is though. He's dead, and we'll have to find out what happens next.
You'll have to find out, but what happens next is a rating. I'll give this episode.
I'm gonna get an 8. I thought it was a damn good episode.
I think it's
one of the better episodes.
I think it's a great episode, right?
I'd say it's definitely top 5 from what I've seen so far.
What's the reason? All right, yeah. The reason is, right, Ralph's dead. How are the group going to find out what lies Tony going to commit? But it's not like the episode. It's not like the episode ends with him going to Christopher. So who are we going to put this on? It ends with him walking out a door.
Well, Tony's denying it was even him. So
does Christopher buy that?
Krista would need to be a dumb bastard to
Like,
think that
Christopher-
Tony didn't do this.
Yeah. Like, come on.
It's so fucking up. I mean, Chris
battered
walks in
him.
and Tony's been battered and his eyes are all red and he's been busted and stuff, and he's obviously been fighting and he's been in a scrap, and then he just sees Ralph and Tony's just standing there.
Drugged out his tits. Well, Christopher's drugged out his tits. Tony's tits are his face because he's a fat bastard.
But we'll see what happens up next then. That's it, guys. I'm getting it an 8. You're giving it a...
I'm giving it an 8 too. I thought easily one of the better episodes of this season, and like you said, probably of all time. And it's a great episode, but it's not an episode of TV where I'm like, that could rival anything.
No, it was a good episode, great episode, best episode of the season, but yeah, but you know what? It's not often it gets an 8 out of 10, so I'm not going to complain.
That's it, guys. Till then. Peace. Bada bing, bada boom. The investigation into who killed Big Ralphie is underway. Welcome back to the Soprano Reviews here on Fog Entertainment. It is the strong silent type. Is that pie oh my? Was it a strong silent type of a horse galloping? Well, it probably didn't go out quiet. It was probably neighing in agony when Ralph lit the match, but Tony dealt with Ralph. Ralph was crying in agony when he got choked out on the floor. And let's talk about this episode, because the crew, they're all wanting to know what happened to Ralph. And even though, right, Tony and Ralph were in pretty good, condition with each other, relationships were mended since the whole Tracy incident, why do like half the crew think Tony's automatically did it here when Christopher's the only guy that knows he did?
Yeah, it's like everyone's pointed fingers at Tony. Tony's the number one suspect. Was he the last one to see Ralph last? Not entirely sure. But, I mean, if we were going to look, there's multiple people in the crew that did not like Ralph and that would want Ralph to disappear.
But overall, guys, right, let's just wrap up the suspect list. Why would Tony be on it? There's no reason for Tony to kill Ralph, but the group think he did. I think Polly should be the number one suspect, right? Even though Chris did give him an alibi. Hey, Tony, he was in ruckus. It couldn't have been him. Well, you know what? Polly had motive. He thought Ralph phoned his mum. He was correct in that, right? You say that Johnny Sack is also another suspect, but guess what, folks? He's not part of New Jersey or North Jersey.
They're all connected.
Yeah, but he's in New York.
Doesn't matter shit. He could have still killed him.
Right. Tony tries to pin it on Johnny Sack, which I think is probably the correct decision to do, even though it does risk a war with New York. That, I mean, realistically, why would you want that? But at the end of the day, you've got Silvio talking with Patsy and Ali Boy Baresi, and he's like, off the record, if Tony did this, what's stopping him from doing it to one of us? When Silvio knows, Paulie literally said in the previous episode, if I find out it was fucking him, T, I'm killing him. Did he or did he not say that in front of everybody?
Aye, but Paulie doesn't get to make the decisions who's killing who. Tony's the one that kills people.
Yeah, but hold on. But they're all worried that Tony's willing to kill people, even though Paulie's said, I will kill him, I don't give a shit what Tony says.
So they should be worried about Paulie?
Not they should be worried about Paulie, but Paulie's the guy with motive. Why would Tony kill Ralph? Why would not, only Tony and Ralph knew about Pyomai and the fire. Only Tony knew that Ralph's the one that did it, even though it's still up for debate. And if you want to debate it some more, debate it in the comment section. But the reality is, you've got this guy, Tony the mob boss, and if they honestly think Tony killed Ralph, why are they pussyfooting around it? Just fucking confront the guy. See Silvio instead of thinking, well, you know what, guys?
That's a pretty big accusation,
Silvio's his consolari, right? He could go to Tony, here, I need to know if you killed Ralph. I didn't like the guy, and if you did, I'm not going to out you, but, I'd like a bit of transparency here. Is that going to get Silvio killed?
I don't think you can accuse someone like that without tangible proof.
You sure?
Yeah, that's a pretty big accusation.
Pretty big accusation, brother. But talking about a pretty big painting arrives. It's a picture of Tony and Pai Oh My, and he starts crying. He actually starts crying. He leaves the bada bing. He goes to his psychiatrist. She's like, it seems to be animals that only make you cry. First it was the ducks. Now it's the horses. You've lost your mother. You've lost family. You've lost friends. And you didn't give a shit. But the ducks. The horses. Then he starts crying some more. And it's like, Tony's supposed to be the top man here. I'm not saying you can't lose a pet, right? But I think losing a racehorse is different to the family dog. Would you agree with that?
The racehorse is more like a profit, isn't it? It's like a financial...
Yeah, way of making money.
I mean, it's kind of like, buying stakes in something or taking shares and then, You have a bad day financially.
Paulie decides to keep this picture, by the way. He puts it in his house, and he's now like changed Tony into like a Napoleon sort of attire. And he keeps looking back at the painting on the wall. He did it about 10 times this episode. Now, Soprano fanboys would be like, oh, this is David Chase planting the seeds for something 2 seasons down the line. What did you get for this, for Paulie looking at a painting? Filler?
Pretty much, just constantly
Looking back at a painting?
didn't do much for me.
Doesn't achieve anything. Furio's returned from Naples. He's like tears in his eyes, and Tony's like, "Why are you crying?" He's like, "My father." Right, I'm not buying this as well for Furio. Right, obviously it's kind of hypocritical for Tony because he's crying over a horse. Can this guy not mourn his father? This is a made guy in the mafia. He's literally returned from Naples. It's been like, a couple of days since he buried his father. Should this guy really be picking up the boss and crying his fucking eyes out? Is it not a bit weak?
Oh, fuck off. Tony's the one in the wrong here.
No, Tony is the one in the wrong. No, they're both in the wrong. But it's not a bit pathetic.
Oh, aye. Guy's upset he lost his father. That makes him in the wrong.
He's a made man.
Who gives a shit? Tony's got fucking psycho issues. Goes to a psychiatrist. He's a made man. He's the man.
Yeah.
Guy's fucking grating over a horse.
Aye, but Furio's not even...
The guy's killing other made men over horses. So let's cut Furio some slack here.
Nay.
Tony's
Aye,
a
but
sad, pathetic bastard.
Hold on. Furio's not even crying over his father, though. He's crying over the fact that he wants to be with Carmela, and he's not making a move for it. So who's actually the real pathetic bastard?
Both of them.
Both of them? No, what is this relationship that Furio and Carmela think they've both got with each other, even though it's like talking over coffee? No, what is it? You could cut the tension with Tony's fucking non-existent mustache. I do not get this, man. Like, is Furio going to act? Is Carmela going to act? Now, obviously, I know what happens. So, what's your prediction for this relationship?
Well, I don't think they'll get together because, although you know what, I reckon fucking Furio could probably sleep with Carmela, and I don't think Tony would really care that much. I don't think Tony would give him.
What are you crying over? I slept with your wife.
I don't think get over it. I don't think Tony would kill him like he did Ralph and Pyome.
You think so? No.
No.
Then Johnny Sack meet with Tony. This was like the most abrupt meeting ever. Tony has driven all the way to New York for Johnny Sack to say, "You want to go down this road, Tony?" About the whole, HUD scam that Paulie's obviously filled Johnny Sack in with. And by the way, Paulie, not only is he... I think Paulie is completely jobbed New Jersey out here. And is he ever going to get found out? Probably not. But we go back to the Bada Bing. Tony then calls a meeting. We've got Paulie, Silvio, Fito, Carlo, and other key family members are here. He points out the fact that he thinks Johnny Sack and New York are the ones that killed Ralph. So, again, I think it makes way more sense that New York did kill Ralph.
None of them are memorable. They're just guys that come in for like a scene every 5 episodes.
Well, I mean,
they don't have their own story arc. They don't have nothing.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
They say a few lines in front of Tony, then they fuck off for 10 episodes.
Yeah, but I didn't like the direction of this storyline this episode. I cannot grasp why Tony's own crew actually think he killed Ralph. There's like no motive. If this was after the offence of the Tracy incident, yes. But like, where is the beef between Ralph and Tony this season? It's not like the Pyomai beef, like, spiraled out of control into the public eye. Hell, in the last episode, Ralph's just lost his son. And Tony was, like, helping him and, like, hugging him and shit at the hospital. So, I don't know, where does this fucking came from?
Didn't they mention Pyomai and the fact that it could have been Ralph?
I don't know, I don't think they did.
I think they did.
Well, why would they suspect Ralph for that?
Because he's a bastard.
Because, see this whole gimmick that Ralph's a bastard? They're all bastards!
Oh, I know, eh?
No, why is this show trying to pretend that they're all these evil, like, the Ralph's the only evil fucker? You look at the crew, right? See Bobby, he's like the only genuine nice guy you'll get. And let's talk about another arsehole, Christopher. He's high on the gear. He looks for more gear after beating up Adriana. He gets his car hijacked. She then goes to Carmela. Tony's like, I'm going to batter the fuck out this wee bastard. Then we get, probably in my opinion, one of the better scenes of The Sopranos. We get Christopher's intervention, where they're all burying him. Adriana buries the sex drive. Tony buries the fact that he sat on a dog, and he's like, Jesus Christ, you killed the dog. Silvio points out that he came into the Bada Bing one morning and Chris had his head in the toilet water. Tony backed him up and said, well, you know what, Silvio, he was actually sick that day. Paulie says you're a disgrace to your family and you're weak. Was this criticism all fair on Chris, or was it unjust?
I mean, what they were saying was probably fair, but it's like they're throwing stones in a glass house.
Yeah.
And then Christopher gives them it back and none of them could accept it. Yet they all wanted Chris to just sit there and take this fucking barrel of abuse from multiple people. But then Chris single-handedly dished out some hard truths back to them and none of them could accept it.
Yeah.
And it ended up in a big brawl with everyone beating the shit out of
Like,
Chris.
you look at Chris, right? Yeah, him being a junkie's not been ideal, but what's it actually affected the crew? It's not affected the crew. What's it actually done? Look at Paulie. He's giving key information to New York, and he's actually the first guy to step up and punch Christopher. But Chris points out, it's like, oh, Paulie, what about that wee incident in the Pine Barrens? Of course, that's when they tried to kill the Russian guy, but then he escaped. He then points out to Silvio that he sleeps with every stripper at the Bada Bing. Again, I mean, Tony sleeps around. Did he have the balls to say here that Tony sleeps around in front of Carmela, who was also present in this? Probably not. But then he pointed out to Tony that, yeah, you're talking about dying? You eat like fuck, you're going to die before you're 50. And then that's the final line. Paulie steps up, slaps
True, but I feel like he purposely said that about Tony because it's not overly personal. Yeah, it's personal about his weight, but it doesn't really affect his standing. Like, he's talking about Silvio and cheating with his wife, and that's different, you know. That paints Silvio in a negative light. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone can already see that Tony's fat and overweight. Like,
True.
I doubt he would ever say to Tony what he said about Silvio.
Christopher then gets taken to the hospital. I think it was a hairline fracture. Tony says, if this was anyone else, I would have killed you. Strong words there for Tony. So Silvio or Paulie or the rest of the gang know if they ever get addicted to drugs, Tony's not going to check them in the rehab, but he's going to put a bullet in them. Which, you know, I think if you're a junkie, it is you are pretty unreliable. But if you're like a loved member of the crew, like you've did like 40 years and you feel like family, or you're the consigliere, just because
You're not allowed one fuck up.
just because you go off the rails for like a few weeks and you're on drugs, does that automatically mean you should get deaf? I mean, yeah, if you want to demote them or, you know, give them a fine of, like, here, give me 3.5 points, Tony, or some pish like that, fair enough, but kill him? That was a wee bit extreme. Maybe Tony was probably pointing at the fact that he was airing dirty laundry in a room filled with people who shouldn't really be knowing much about their business. But Tony decides to go one worse than Chris, and he sleeps with an amputee. And will Carmela find out about this? Someone commented it and spoiled it. She does find out about it. And do you think Carmela's finding out that Tony slept with someone who only has one leg could be the final straw in their marriage?
Yeah, for some reason I think she'll take that bad. Like, I mean, obviously she doesn't want him to sleep with anyone, but I think she'll find that insulting, that he's even sleeping with women with one leg. Which I guess is discrimination, but yeah. Sopranos seems to do a good job of
Discrimination
that.
against a Russian with one leg. And I mean, Tony's top man, right? And here he is, sleeping with some Russian with one leg on his uncle's couch. To me, this entire storyline / scene was just a mess. Then the cleaner or the nurse comes in, and Tony's like in his boxers in his uncle's couch with his shirt unbuttoned. And it's like there was just like the shittest amount of light entering the room. It just does this guy scream mob boss to you or just waster? Waster for me. And then the episode pretty much just ends with Paulie looking at the Napoleon picture. I mean, again, I think it was another decent episode. I really enjoyed the Christopher scenes. He's checked into rehab. The intervention, I thought, is one of the best scenes of the show. But again, should I really be saying that? And a lot of people think that. Should this really be regarded as one of the best scenes of a TV show? Some guy in an intervention program dishing out insults? Probably not. But here, I'm going to give this episode a 7 out of 10.
I'll get an 8.
An 8 out of 10, there you go. 7.5 out of 10, guys, for the strong silent type. Till next time. Peace.
Bada bing, bada boom. Give Tony a pole and he'll be the fattest man dancing in our room. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment for yet another Sopranos. We cannot contain our excitement, just like Tony Soprano's shirt can barely contain those big man titties.
Oh aye, calling all cars. That is a reference to Melfi's. I mean, what's her? She's got a psychiatrist. I'm done.
A psychiatrist? Be a psychiatrist?
No, I'm actually done. Right?
Can you really be a psychiatrist if you're like mentally unstable and you also need one of your own?
I know, I agree with that logic.
Now I know you could argue, oh well,
Doctors
if you're a
need
doctor and you get ill, but I'm not really buying that. It's not the same thing. It'd be more like if you're a mechanic,
Aye.
because everyone can get ill, but it'd be like you being a mechanic, but your car breaks down and you have to phone another mechanic. That would just be weak. Like, why can't Dr. Melfi just talk to herself the way she would talk to Tony?
You could just think it then, couldn't you? You don't necessarily need to speak about it.
Either way, it's no real.
Either way, right? Talking in the
Our
real,
mental health on fucking entertainment is great.
it's fantastic. It doesn't exist.
If you want to talk to us, then send us a DM. or
We
something.
would just say, Tony, it's a myth, mate, and his arse would go.
How much do you think Dr. Melfi charges? I know Tony's mentioned it before, but I can't recall off the top of my head.
Therapy's expensive.
We'll do it for £15 an hour.
Aye, send a super chat, guys.
Right, and we will talk
I'll
to
be
you.
there.
We'll talk to you for the full hour. Talk about anything you want.
Anything you want.
Unless it's
damn it.
Sopranos, because
No, see a psychiatrist, it's the easiest fucking job in the world. Apart from the fact I wouldn't be able to do it, because if someone had a pathetic reason why they were greeting, I'd be like, fucking man up. You can't say man up, mate. Yeah, you can.
I'm greeting the ducks. The ducks flew away. Anyway,
Let's talk about his dream. Carmela's driving an old Cadillac. Who's in beside her? We've got Ralphie. Then you've got Gloria and Svetlana in the back. I think when shows utilise dream sequences, they can work. But I think The Soprano rips the arse out of it. It's like with Sal. Should he really find out in a dream that Sal's a rat? I mean, that's a big fucking moment. It was a talking fish.
was it even real, Sal?
$6 a pound, Tom. Fish. How's the catch? I don't know. It didn't really do much for me, but for Dr. Melfi, I think she should have been a season 1 exclusive. All right, she's like serving no purpose.
When I first watched it and it opened up with her being the psychiatrist, I actually thought that's the direction they were going to go. I thought that he was going to be with her, and then maybe at the end of season 1, he'd be like, I know, I don't need a psychiatrist anymore.
Yep.
I didn't know that it was going to be the entire thing throughout. Just seems a little bit, I don't know, like they're over.
I can let you know. It pretty much is the
It's
entire
almost like
thing.
they're just like overplaying it. I can't think of another show where somebody needed something like this. Just can't imagine a mob. It almost feels like woke or something, even though I know it's not, because it came from a time when that wokeness didn't really affect TV shows. But him being a mob boss and well, he does. He is open with the fact that, I mean, they kind of accept that if everyone found out, no one would respect him.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But it's the fact that he needs it.
I thought it was a good way though to introduce characters at the beginning, but now I'm sick of it.
But like, if Tony was gay, I mean, no one would respect him.
Just like a bit differently.
What?
I think they could be willing to accept psychiatry with the gay thing, as we will see in a few seasons' time. But anyway, let's get back on track, because Big Bobby Bacala, he's got a weird gimmick going on where he takes a cake to his wife's grave, buries it, and then talks to her. I can deal with the talking part, but burying a cake next to her?
Yeah, you know what? I don't mind people going to the grave and talking, but he's just you know for a
cake pish.
You know for a fact she hasn't eaten the fucking cake,
The worms are.
right? And maybe she's not necessarily hearing you anyway, but it's still okay. I think it's okay to go to a grave and talk to someone beyond the grave. But this is just a waste of a cake. It's fucking weird. It's very fucking weird.
No, it's very
You're
weird.
gonna get her a birthday card and bury a birthday card?
What also is very weird
On Christmas, are you gonna get her a present and bury the present?
No, what also is very weird though is the emphasis on his two kids. Oh, they were playing with a Ouija board, and Soprano Jr. Anthony, he's ripping the piss out of them.
This is like typical Sopranos, where I know Bobby Jr., the little one's been in it before. I don't even remember his daughter being in it. But this is like typical Sopranos, where you have these characters that you don't even know existed, and then randomly out the blue, they will be like the main focus for an episode.
Yeah.
It's like there's no gradually bringing in these characters. We haven't gradually this season seen how the death of Bobby's wife is affecting his kids. They just throw it all into like the one episode, and it doesn't really have any sort of weight. It's not like don't really sympathise with them because you haven't seen their struggle. You haven't seen how they've reacted in the opening part of the season.
No, you haven't. I think his son's a pretty good cast, though. Big fat bastard looks like him.
Also looks a bit like Tony.
No, it looks. I mean, if you're fat, you do look like Tony.
Tony.
But yeah, I mean, it looks like Janice and Bobby are going to get in a relationship. Do you dig that relationship?
I think Bobby can do better than Janice. She's not really a nice person.
As Tony said 2 seasons ago, there's better looking men in the can than my sister, and I'm not going to disagree with. In the can. Right, anyway, let's talk about the New York meet, because New York, they want 40% of the HUD business, because of course Polly leaked that information. Tony storms out the meeting, phones up Johnny Sack, says 5.5%.
Is that a rat? Is that a rat manoeuvre? Or is it not deemed quite as bad as a rat?
I think it is. I think if you rats, right, he's not getting anyone killed, but he's affecting money. I would say.
What is that punishable by?
I say honestly, because Paulie thinks he's telling Johnny Sack this stuff, and he thinks he's getting one over with him as well. He thinks he's getting information for John, but Johnny Sack's playing him like a fucking flute. Yeah. Paulie thinks he's doing no wrong, but the reality is he's doing wrong. And I think you can clearly see that Tony doesn't trust him. He says this to Silvio. We don't want to tell Paulie about this because he could be the guy that's telling Johnny.
But does Tony even trust Silvio anymore? 100%?
I remember a couple of episodes ago, Tony said it could be Sil, and Chris went, I don't know, it might be. Talking to Chris, he's in rehab.
No, but does Tony trust anybody? Paulie is obviously not trustworthy. Chris is a junkie. Silvio, I think him and the relationship between Tony is fractured a little bit. And Furio could potentially be sleeping with his wife. So, I mean, there's not really. I mean, who does Tony trust?
Yeah, Tony's oblivious to that, though. And again, I don't care for Furio and Carmella.
Furio.
Just another side plot I don't give a shit about.
Well, I mean, if Bobby can do better than Janice, can Furio not do better than Carmella?
Of course he could.
Like, like...
He's got the fucking nose to find them, like.
Well, he could sniff them out. No, I'm not saying that Carmella, for her age, I'm not saying she's not an attractive, like, woman or whatnot, but... It's like she's just so fucking annoying.
But she never shows that side to Furio.
True.
Furio does not know that.
See if Furio knew what it was like in that Soprano household, I think he would fucking go back to Italy.
I think he'd hang himself by his nose.
He'd want to be as far away from Carmella as possible.
Of course he would, but that's why it's all fake, though. It's all this shite. But essentially, one of the associates, Vic the Appraiser, Tony's crew beats him up. New York beats him up. It's almost like they're taking turns at barring the fuck out of this guy. Weird, but are they going to be able to come to an agreement? Maybe not, because what Tony does, he reaches out to Beansy, if you remember, who crippled Beansy in season 2. Richie Aprile, so he's dead.
That's what I meant. I didn't mean Ralph.
So they go down the Beansy, he reaches out to Carl.
That's a bit unnecessary, that beatdown, by the way.
Oh yeah, TLC.
Oh, the cripple, the car.
No Scrubs was playing.
I'm thinking about the guy beat up in the restaurant. Yeah.
No, when Tony says to him, I thought you to back up.
So he got... So
he's like, yeah, then I put it in drive. That was a pretty good line. Like,
yeah, that was pretty good. But here, but I don't remember them ever following up in season 2 about whether this guy would get his legs back.
No, his legs he's fucked. He's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, but remember, like they said, it's touch and go.
He built with touch and go. It looked fucked.
No, but did they not say he might never walk again?
Well, he can't. So.
All right. Well. Yeah, but is that it? Is that we don't get the conclusion till like 2 seasons later?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Or did we actually make it official?
I just knew he went down to Florida. I can't remember.
All I remember is the last thing was Tony was told he might never walk again, and then 2 seasons you see him not walking. I was like, right, okay.
That is very funny. Tony then goes down to Florida, meets with Carmine's son, who's a bit of a retard. I mean, it's just filler. Like, I mean, they're talking about these percentages, and it's like, do you care? It's all this petty shit. Like, it's like they're taking their anger out on each other in New York and New Jersey on this business guy who's the appraiser.
I get it, right? Percentages don't... I think it's hard to care too much about percentages because it's not like we're being affected, not like we're making anything from it. But I do think The Sopranos does a really bad job of actually making you have any interest in, like, in The Sons, for example, when they're talking about some sort of split, you're intrigued. I think you're thinking, is that a good deal? Is that a good... Could they do better than that? Does so-and-so deserve 50-50? But
I feel like with this,
even
it's
Sopranos,
just
it just feels like they're throwing random numbers at. There's been times where, like, even they're talking, can you give me 4? I can only give you 2. It's like
2 points.
When when
Not 0.1 point.
When what's his name? Cook, chef,
Artie.
Artie.
What do you mean, the Don?
Aye, the Don of the Sopranos. Like when he was trying to borrow the money, it was like, why not just ask for 50 G's? See this whole code, man. It was like, fuck.
Aye, a guy that's code and he's not even in it.
Yeah, why is he using
Anyway,
code?
Tony has a dream. He follows Ralph to his mum's house or something, and like this figure who looks like Livia comes down the stairs, but of course she's dead, so it can't be her because the actress is dead. And then Tony walks out in Miami
I totally
Beach.
forgot about her. Tell you what, this show's got a lot of annoying fucking ass characters in it.
Doesn't it? But he walks out in the balcony, takes a breath, big deep breath, and that's it. That's the episode. I mean, I think the last couple were quite good with Ralph's death, Christopher's like intervention and shit, and him going to rehab. But I mean, this is filler. Like, I mean, like this is an episode where you could miss it, and I don't think much changes. I don't think you should be. I don't think a TV show should have episodes where if you missed it, nothing changes. Like honestly, what? See if you missed this episode, what did you miss?
Not a lot,
A couple of percentages, like, but that's it.
I think a lot of Sopranos episodes are like that.
I would agree with that statement. I'm going to give this a 5. I mean, I think that's actually no. I'm going to give it a 4. I think a 5's too high. They should have built on the momentum, but they didn't. So what are you getting? I'm getting it a 4.
Yeah, it wasn't that good for me. I think that there was a couple of good episodes in a row. I think we're going to miss not Richie. I think we're going to miss Ralph. And we haven't seen Chris lately either, so...
Yeah, he's in rehab. Won't see him for a few more episodes.
Yeah, I mean, we went for Ralph and Chris probably being the standout characters in the episodes, making episodes good, and then we have to survive without both of them. So, yeah, a little bit of quality has went down, I think. I mean, I'm going to get a 4 as well. For me, it was a mediocre, it wasn't good. I mean, it wasn't awful, but it
nothing
wasn't...
happened.
Yeah, it was just...
I can't say, this was bad, but I mean, it's just uneventful.
Yeah, very uneventful. So, yeah.
4 out of 10.
And I think the problem with The Sopranos is this isn't just a one-off, or it's not even like, you get like one episode like this a season. I feel like each season you're maybe getting like 3 or 4 episodes like this.
And sometimes you get them in a row.
Aye, back to back.
Aye, and that's a disaster waiting for you. Sacrifice. Anyway, guys, calling all cars. 2 episodes to go. Till next time. Peace. Normally it's tuck your tail between your legs, but Furio tucked his nose between his legs because it's humongous, damn it. Welcome back to Eloise. Tony almost got propelled in the helicopter as Furio propelled into the air with his nose and took off back to Naples. Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. It is the Pearl episode of Season 4. Big discussions, big gay talk, and also a coffin dodger, but the
Bada bing, bada boom,
bada
bite
bing,
the
bada
dust.
bing. Yeah, I mean, I remember watching that for the first time and couldn't believe Polly actually resorted to that.
You know what though, Furio in this episode could have done us all a favour. He could have just killed Tony and saved us 2 more seasons of The Sopranos.
He could have, but I just couldn't imagine this show without Tony Soprano.
That's what I'm saying. He could have saved us 2 more seasons of The Sopranos, aka when it happened.
You think it would have just ended?
Well, no shit.
Do you think Tony's
it's a
brain would have splattered over the helicopter and just would have faded to black?
It's a one character fucking show. I mean, like, of course it's not going to continue without Tony.
It's not going to continue without Tony. But, you know what, nice trackie that Furio was wearing.
Could we have got a Furio spin-off, though?
I think you could. Still could. The actor's still alive.
Do it. Nah, Naples. Back in Italy. He buys a football club or something like that. Corruption.
Corrupt. It was the mid-2000s. The Italian Serie A clubs know all about that, but I mean, may as well wrap that arc up. So he wants to build this extension in his house. Carmela gets her father involved. Looks like they could kiss, but then one of the contractors enters the arena, or his garage in this instance. And then, right, he's in Connecticut with Tony and a bunch of the guys. He sees Tony getting drunk and flirting with these women and gambling and drinking and wanting helicopter rides, and his nose is getting bigger. It's like Pinocchio here, man.
He doesn't seem to like the way Tony treats Carmela, because he seems to care for Carmela.
Yeah,
But he doesn't care enough to actually do something about it or tell Carmela the truth. So he thinks, here, Tony's pissed, Tony's drunk. I could just end it right here, right now, and push him into this like helicopter here. And like, I mean, see when Furio has those thoughts, I don't think he can continue working for Tony.
No.
That's a line that he's crossed.
I think he actually had to do it.
And it was weird because Surely if you're taking a piss next to a helicopter, would the wind direction not like send your piss flying into
That
your...
wasn't really the least. That wasn't my most concerning thing here. I mean, it was almost the Dawn was getting wiped out.
Yeah, so Furio grabs him by the scruff. Tony can't believe it. It's like, hey, what you doing? And yeah,
Getting too close.
one little push here would have ended it all, but then Furio says, you're getting too close, and he actually puts him a bit closer to the blade, then throws him away for it. And you know what? Tony never really caught on. Tony just bought this. Maybe it's because Tony was drunk, but would Tony not be like, why the fuck you got your hands on me, though? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
why not just say to Tony,
spoiler
like,
alert, right? Furio is never seen again. Now, I'm not saying the issue isn't brought up with Furio, but what my problem with this is, it's like, you're right, Tony does. It's like, you can be drunk, but this was an attempt on your life, you dumb fat fuck. I mean, how's he not realise this? You were getting too close, huh? He just buys it, man.
I'm going to move you closer.
I'm going to move you closer, huh?
You know, like, what the fuck?
But what's the end game here for Furio, right? He kills Tony, and then what? Is he just going to jump into the Soprano household and become
The new Mr. Soprano?
Furio Soprano? I'm not too sure how it would have worked for Furio. Well, no, let's say Furio killed him. Would Carmella have been absolutely raging about Tony's death?
I mean, I would say so. Like, well, I think she'd be more annoyed at the fact Furio killed him. Although I guess Furio could say, oh, he slipped or something, he had an accident, he was drunk. I suppose Furio's not going to hold his hands up and be like, it was me, I done it.
And yeah, but also it's the Don's family. He can't just jump into the Soprano household the day after, even if it is an accident, because obviously he would have to portray it as an accident in order to get away with it. But yeah, he's away back to Naples. Carmella, though, you know, she hints that Tony's whacked him. She thinks Tony's killed him. Breaks down a few times this episode. Meadow kind of puts two and two together about this. I mean, there was some funny scenes with the dinner where they were talking about this story. I believe it was Billy Budd, Herman Melville.
Sounds pretty gay.
Yeah, Billy Budd, that does sound a wee bit gay. Just like King Billy. But,
Tony was flabbergasted here that Meadow's boyfriend doesn't live in the apartment, but some other guy that's not gay does. Tony just couldn't comprehend that.
He's like, no offence, I'm not gay. What? It's like the most shocking moment of Tony's life here.
And it seemed
finding out this guy wasn't gay.
And it seemed to bother him, like,
What?
bothered him a lot more than it should
He
have.
stopped fucking eating, he just stared at him for the remainder of the scene.
And when Tony stops eating, you know there's a problem.
No, see AJ, right? You just see here that the guy, I'd say in this season, right, he must be about, what, 15? But he's almost like he's got Down syndrome or something. Like, or just lacking so much mental fortitude. Do you not think, like, when he's speaking here, it just comes across as a fucking brain-dead retard? Which may sound too extreme, by the way, but he actually, I think there's some kids that come across as smart. He just doesn't sound like he has anything rattling about in his brain.
I think he's just socially awkward, and that's kind of the life that he's had growing up with Tony Soprano as his dad.
I mean, I think that's fair enough, but I don't think he offers anything. Like, he got a C, and Carmella's like, but you put a lot of effort into that. Yeah, but he's a dipshit.
And then Tony's like, well, it's better than the Fs he normally gets.
And then he asked something like, I didn't read, I know, he's like, he said something about the book, and Tony's like, I thought you said you fucking read it.
Yeah, so the guy that's not gay but looked gay, he was like, yeah, he did this in the book. And then AJ's like, oh, really? And then Tony's expression just changes. I thought you read it. Yeah, it was. I like that wee dinner scene. It was pretty good.
I like that dinner scene. The dinner scenes I didn't like was Polly's mum, man. And, like, her friend lets...
Car crash. Boom.
Yeah, she lets slip that she has a lot of money under her sofa, which obviously, light bulb, sofa, bed, whatever, man.
Oh, no, she didn't. She suggested that she might have money and it might be underneath her bed, but she didn't say how much. I mean, Polly goes over to try and rob her. He gets caught in the act, and then he just basically kills her so that she doesn't tell anyone. And as soon as she's dead, like, he doesn't feel guilt or anything. He just directly goes for the fucking bed to see how much money she has. And it's like, it's a dickhead move. I mean, stealing her money, I think, would have been bad enough. But to actually kill this woman, and like, he could have, like, at the point, see when he killed her, he didn't even know how much money she had. He hadn't even found it yet. Like, he could have killed this woman and maybe, because a lot of money to an old person might be maybe $1,000.
Yeah.
$500. I mean, he killed this woman not knowing how much money she had. Now, in fairness, he does give Tony a big envelope, so maybe she had quite a bit of money, but still...
I believe he still would have kept some for himself.
Like, what? Yeah, no, I think so as well, but what a dickhead move. We even seen Sal, with Big Sal, when they killed him. I mean, he was in there like a scavenger taking the watches and stuff.
No, Paulie is a scumbag. There's no defending him.
I don't like him.
He doesn't have a family, and they've pointed that out quite a few times.
You know what? Like, I mean, yeah, there's characters in it that are shady, right? See, as bad as shit as Tony does sometimes, and Chris, you do feel like they do have, like, they care a little bit.
There's like a moral compass a wee bit. I think with Paulie, it's out the fucking window.
With Silvio, he's pretty much like a background character, so we don't fucking know if he's got a moral compass or not.
No, but I would say Paulie would sell anyone it.
Yeah, Silvio just stands there hunched over. He doesn't really offer much for me.
No, I mean, I actually liked the scene between him and Paulie this episode. Pretty much putting the cards on the table about, your envelopes are a wee bit light, Paulie, big man. He's like, you take a problem with everything. He's like, oh, me and Tony's relationship, no one could ever get that. I think Paulie and Tony's relationship is probably at an all-time low at this stage, but if Paulie wants to think otherwise, then you go ahead, son.
But you know what? I don't think Silvio and Tony's relationship's great either.
Or
Tony or Chris's.
I don't think Tony's got a great relationship.
Or Tony or Furio's.
Or even his wife.
Or his wife.
Kids.
Or his kids.
Yeah, maybe the Ducks, like.
The Ducks and Tony,
They come back.
they're doing pretty well for themselves. But other than that, even his gourmets, he's not really... I mean, his last one's dead. And
Yeah.
the rest of them, he's kind of not have anything to do with. Dr. Melfi's relationships,
Nah, she wasn't in this episode, thank God.
it's almost like he's not even gone back. They've pretty much got divorced. So yeah, Tony's relationships with everyone are down the toilet right now.
Let's talk about, though, the New York deal. So, the old guy, Carmine Libertazzi, he still wants the 40%. Even his son comes up, and there's a whole theory feds out there across YouTube saying that his son's actually really smart, but he acts fucking dumb just to put people in each other's crosshairs, which might be an interesting theory fed one day for Fog Entertainment. But end of the day, this guy wants 40%. Johnny Sachs meets with Tony, says, here, he's a healthy guy, but he might go at any second, Tony. He's like, you just think about that. He leaves. Tony's like, holy fuck. Implying that Johnny Sachs wants Carmine going. I think the fact that the guy's not willing to compromise on the 40% probably tells me that the guy does need to go. But you seen a couple of episodes ago that Carmine guy wanted Johnny dead for the whole Ralph situation. Just shows you. Like,
Everybody wants everybody dead.
There's no loyalty. And the same for Paulie.
See when they meet and they're hugging and they're kissing and they're shaking it, oh, I love
It's all
you.
fake.
Sell you it for a tenner.
And no, it's fake though. You look at Paulie, like Johnny Sack didn't even tell Carmine about Paulie. Paulie like a spare prick at a wedding, man.
Oh, you know me? No, never heard of you. It's like, what the fuck?
Obviously it makes for plot purposes, so this makes Paulie like realise, holy shit, I don't have anyone in New York that I can even talk to. Right. There's no way that Carmine doesn't know who Paulie is.
Yeah, I just refuse to believe it. Paulie's been with the Soprano family for like decades now.
I would say at this point it's at like since the late 50s, 60s.
Right, I mean, can you make a point? Can you make an argument that he might not know Furio?
And people like that.
Or maybe Christopher? But even then, because Christopher's Tony's family. But I mean, if Stevie didn't know Christopher or Furio, I mean, I could accept it. But how's this guy not going to know Paulie, Silvio, Big Sal?
Yeah, doesn't make any sense to me. I'm willing to bet good
Ralph,
money.
who's like a fucking the top earner.
I'm willing to bet good money. But see, did know Ralph? I'm willing to bet good money, right? That before this scene, these two have met before on screen, and they've interacted. And I'm willing to bet this is a fucking flaw. How much would you bet on that?
Yeah, it felt forced to me just to put over the fact that Paulie's been spilling all the beans, and he's not really.
They could have just done it. They could have just done it in a way though, where Carmine wasn't aware that he was talking to Johnny Sack.
Yeah, I mean,
and did it in a way like, I don't care about you. You're New York
yeah, they could have.
or Jersey.
They could have acknowledged that Carmine knew about Paulie, but he wasn't aware that Paulie was having like conversations and giving information and things like
But
that.
the way they did it was, I don't even know who you are, mate.
Who the fuck are you?
He's talking about Johnny Sack.
And it's weird because Paulie just comes up and starts kissing him. You know,
Uh-huh.
the wee Italian kiss on the cheek, and this guy's thinking, "Who the fuck's this dude?"
Who the fuck's this dude? Anyway, guys, what the fuck's this rating? I'm going to... I think it was a bit better than
Yeah, I'm gonna get a 6 out of 10.
Yep.
I thought it was all right.
We're progressing towards a season finale, but what I would say is, what do you think is going to happen in this season finale? There's not much happening.
I mean, see, The Sopranos, I don't really look at it that, season premiere, this should be good, or season finale should be good. For me, when you do get a good episode of Sopranos, it's kind of just randomly out of the blue.
Yeah.
I don't think they tend to build up to good episodes. I think you randomly get one.
You tune in one day and you get it.
Like, yeah, you know what? The season 4 finale might be a bang average 5 out of 10, but then who knows? Episode 2 of season 5 could be an 8 out of 10.
That's just the way it goes.
But right now, there's not much for me going into this final episode. Like, why not have Furio leaving the finale? Why not have maybe tease the fact that Furio's going to kill Tony? It just seems to be a bit dead the way they've done it. Furio's gone. He's not coming back. Like, where's the beef? All right, this Carmine guy, maybe he can die. Even Junior as well. It's like, what's happening with him?
Yeah, but the Carmine beef, it doesn't even seem to... It's like, so what? It's over fucking numbers at the end of the day. It's like, there's no blood has been shed. Like, there's no like serious beef. It's just over a percentage.
And how much interaction is Carmine and Tony actually had for us to care?
Yeah.
Very limited.
And you know it's not like Tony's going to die. It's like very one-sided beef.
Well, Carmine could die of old age before Tony gets to him. Anyway, guys, that's it. What are you giving it?
I'll give you a 6 as well.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Tell Eloise.
On the longest episode of The Sopranos ever, the rocky marriage between Tony Soprano and Carmela. It's over in Whitecaps, episode 52 overall, which shows you how far we're actually getting into The Sopranos here. But it was a runtime of 75 minutes. The episode attracted 12.5 million viewers, and it's regarded by multiple critics as one of the best of this series. Welcome back to Fog Entertainment.
It was definitely a knockout for the Tony Soprano marriage. Finished, beat, over.
And we put it up for a poll whose fault it was, but we'll talk about it more throughout this episode. That is pretty much the main focus, right? It's Carmela and Tony splitting up. Of course, Irina makes a phone call, reveals to Carmela that her one-legged cousin slept with Tony, and that was the final straw for Carmela. Not the millions of hookers and whores. It was the one-legged woman who, yes, she's got one leg, right? But she's actually decent. A decent person. But it just shows you how, like, narrow-minded Carmela is, that's the person, that's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Was it not also factor in the fact... But then again, I'm pretty sure the house was phoned before by Tony's women. Did Irene not phone the house before?
Yeah, but I don't think she spoke to AJ, which that seemed to piss Carmela off.
She definitely spoke to Carmela.
Yeah. But
yeah, I think I did piss her off, but like you said, I've got a funny feeling it's more the one leg thing. That was what kind of pushed her over the line.
that was what pushed her over the line, and Tony trying to buy a house down at the Whitecaps beach. That went out the window this episode because, yeah, this happened. Tony drives home, he's buzzing. It's like the happiest I've seen Tony in probably ever on the show. He's singing, "You do my dirty work," and then what happens? His golf stuff's getting wung out. His house coats are getting wung out the top window. He's driving over them. He's like, what the fuck is going on? You've got a bit of a fist fight here between him and Carmela. Well, I say a fist fight. She's the one's like throwing haymakers. He's blocking them all. She's greeting. I thought it was a good performance for both of them. Here, what I would say is,
Are we getting another Tony Soprano panic attack around the corner?
We could be, but as questionable and as overrated as I think this show is, I don't think you can question the acting ability of James Gandolfini.
No, a good actor, like great actor.
He delivers. He warrants his couple of million an episode, I'd say. Now, apparently, I don't know if this is true, but he used to walk about with stones in his shoe to get him pissed off for scenes. Thoughts on that?
That's commitment.
That is commitment.
I'm not sure that's the one thing I would personally think of if I wanted to try and get myself pissed off. Walk about with stones in my shoes, but...
What would you do? But it would agitate you, so it's smart, it's unique. But I mean, we're probably talking about boulders that would disturb this fat cunt, so not little pebbles. But anyway, Christopher, he's used to injecting stones into him. He's out of rehab. He's no longer on the gear, but he's not allowed to drink.
Not allowed to drink. He doesn't really want to be around people that's drinking. That's it.
That's pretty much it for Chris. Do you think he'll stay sober to the end of this show?
Well, he does cancel the attack, I guess.
Oh, he does, but that's nothing to do with his sobriety, does it?
No, I think he stayed sober to the end of season 4, but he'll be back on it. He'll be
Stayed
back on
it
the
sober.
gear.
He came back out of rehab this episode.
Aye.
It'd been pretty shite if he fell off the wagon.
Yeah, he was tasked with the kill for
Carmine Liberazzi.
Carmine, the old man that's got
Senior.
to go. He gives the black guys, two of them, the job of doing it. But when Tony says, "Nah, look, we're not going to head with it anymore," Chris has to cancel the killing. And at first, we're led to believe that he just gives them the money anyway. But no, two of Chris's guys come out execution style, boom, 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 boom. The shooting scenes in The Sopranos are so fucking unrealistic. I mean, they shot this guy and he's coming out the front seat, jumping and diving and then ballerina dances. I mean, trying to escape. Like, what the hell? I remember in season 1 when those two black guys tried to shoot Tony with orange juice. Like, why are the gun scenes so bad in this series?
Yeah, but people would argue they're realistic.
I get, like, people will say, "Oh, it was before its time." I don't care. Come on, there was action movies in the 80s and 70s, man, with guns.
Yeah, this is 2002. Come on, Trips. I can't.
There's no excuse.
No, there ain't an excuse.
See if this was like the 60s or something. Like, I mean, maybe. But look how many all-time great fucking movies we've seen with guns shooting at.
But what I would say is, I think there is. I think the scene in the woods when Chris and Polly are chasing that guy, Valerie, that is a good scene. But then you've got the scene where Chris and Polly are chasing Mikey in the woods, and it's fucking cringy the way they're shooting him. Like, he's pure flinging the gun towards him.
Yeah, but they seem to do that every shot I see.
Yeah, it's debatable at least. I mean, it's I don't understand why they do it, but they do it. Anyway, these two guys are killed. Carmine will live to see another day. Talking of another old bastard, Junior, he gets his trial. What do you call it? What's the terminology? Thrown out.
Adjured.
Mistrial. That's the one we're looking for. So yeah, he's free to go. What I never got though here is like, considering he's free to go, is that not him based? Could he not just return and be like, right, Tony, I'm top man again. Fuck off.
I don't think he's got not for me. Sure, he's lucky to be breathing.
He is, but I mean, it's
Tony essentially cut my deal.
It's dead and buried though.
Aye, but the deal's been made.
I think if Junior could get enough guys in his camp again, he could make a move.
You think he'd do that to Tony after?
I don't think he would, but I think he could if he could.
I think he knows that he's lucky to still be breathing.
Yeah, that's probably the truth. But again, the guy who they threatened, right, to constantly say not guilty, is like talking to one of the women's. "Oh, ring me when your grandchild is born." She looks at him in disgust. "I won't be ringing your kind," because obviously he kept voting not guilty for Junior in the juror thing. But it's like, did this guy not realise in these discussions that these people would fucking hate him? Why is he trying to act all pally with them as soon as the verdict's been found?
Yeah, I mean, this guy's
What the height of delusion?
This guy's just allowed a killer to walk free, and he's wondering why no one likes him.
Nobody likes me anymore. But yeah, we've got more Tony and Carmela stuff. He essentially gets kicked out of the house, but he refuses to, so he moves into like the movie room at the back. AJ says he wants to move in. We see how it's affecting the kids. Polly actually backs up Tony and turns around and says that, "You know what, Tony? I feel sorry for you. Carmela should be the one out in her arse. You should be the one in that house. You're the one that paid it." But obviously, Polly's the only guy without a family and a wife. So, as much as I think Polly is right, it's just not the American thing to do, is it?
No.
To put the wife at the house, even though Tony would be well within his fucking rights. But he's not going to do it. They're constantly slabbering to each other. She tells him to move some chairs. He gets out. He's like, "You know why? I like the one with one leg because I could actually talk to her." And she's like, "Well, you know what? I had fantasies of Furio." And Tony's like, "What?" Then he starts punching the fucking wall beside her. And it's like,
but no, I don't get, right? I don't get a shite. Like, because you get Andrew Tate, and he'll be like, "Oh, well, the man can sleep with 200 people, and it doesn't matter. But if the wife sleeps with one person, it's done, right?" I don't really buy that. Like, how can Tony really be pissed here with the amount of women he's slept with, right? And the amount of times he's cheated on Carmela? How can he be pissed off? I get it. Maybe he feels a bit hurt or whatever, but I mean, all Carmela did was fantasize about Furio. Technically, hasn't been unfaithful. And if Tony didn't like have no love for her, like, then she probably wouldn't feel that way in the first place.
yeah, it's very hypocritical.
If Tony was a good husband and actually cared and wanted to spend time here, and I'm not blaming it all on Tony because I don't think she's the easiest person to be around, but like, you could argue that the reason she began to develop feelings for Furio was because of Tony's actions and the lack of his like romance and effort he put into the relationship. But I don't see how that was almost Carmela threw that back at Tony as if it was like oh, we're even now.
Aye, and it's like no, you're just not.
It's not like an Uno reverse card or something like that, it's like
I will defend Tony to a degree because he calls out Carmel and he says, you know what the mob's about with the Gumar thing. You knew what you signed up for, so why the fuck are you moaning about it now, like 2 decades later? And he's got a point.
No, he has.
Like, Carmella throughout this show is constantly called out Tony for what he does, but has no complaints reeling in the money.
Well, their only complaints have really been there's not enough money coming in at times.
Yeah. But Tony's right. But again, it is hypocritical, right? Because how can he be pissed off about Furio, but be alright sleeping around? I mean, the only thing you could argue is
you could say
if Carmella did anything with Furio, he's actually a member of Tony's crew. And maybe it's a bit more personal than random women that Carmella will never meet, even if they do ring the house the odd time. Regardless, though, enough is enough. Tony decides it's a toxic environment. I'm going to leave. AJ and Meadow are upset about this. Meadow gets like flashbacks where she was ungrateful living in the house, starts crying. AJ doesn't have a fucking brain cell in between his head, so he doesn't really know what's going on.
Seen that bored.
Tony then drives away really slowly. We then cut to the lawyer who is like refusing to give him the 200,000 deposit back for the house, and Benny and little Polly are just playing speakers outside of this guy's house, and it's like this generic thing. Oh, thank you, New York. I mean, I thought it was funny, but to end a fucking season, it just seems bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, come on, really? Everything that's happened, and we're going to end it with this boat just playing music?
Yeah. It's the Sopranos to a T. It's
Sopranos special.
Like this guy, right, closing his doors because the music's being played too loud outside his boathouse is to end the season. And bear in mind, right, there was a 2-year wait to the next season after this. What?
You could argue that's not episode ending worthy, never mind season ending worthy.
Yeah, man. Like, here, I thought the drama in this episode, they're going to whack Carmine and the whole split between Tony and Carmella.
Yeah, speaking about being whacked, is Irene not going to get whacked?
Irina?
Because she's just fucked Tony's marriage. And I don't think Tony really cares about his marriage. I think he's more bothered about, like, the reputation. It's considered, like, disgraceful for the Italian couple to be separated.
Copy? What are they, a dog or something?
I don't know. But, I think it's more the reputation thing where he's going to look, he's got divorced for his wife.
No, absolutely.
And then it's almost like seen as his kids are like going to be looked down upon. Oh, your parents have been divorced and all this shit. So I would have to imagine that Tony will be. Yeah, we know he did go kind of looking for Irina, but he didn't find her. But is that it? Is he just going to give up that easily?
Looks that way. We'll have to wait and see, guys. We bit of a time skip going into season 4. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. I'm going to give this episode I'm going to get a 7. I thought the acting was really good, but again, it's the Sopranos, right? If they actually delivered on a good ending, I would boost this episode up by a couple of points to put it in Soprano talk, but honestly, the ending's so lackluster. It's so bad.
Yeah, the ending was disappointing, but the episode was good. I'll also get a 7. I enjoyed it. Don't think it's the best episode of the series so far. Definitely not. For me, there's been a few episodes actually this season better than this one. But it was good. I'd say it was probably one of the better episodes of this season, but not the best for me.
Fair enough, guys. Anyway, 7 out of 10 till season 5. Peace.